clear. So let's see how we get on tonight. Where are we in the channel? There's a few of you already in over on the tubes, aren't you there? We've got SK in, we've got Spare Rib. Hell, we've got Gandalf is in there as well. Gribbage, oh, you're just popping in for a bit? Or hopefully you'll get some nice restful sleep there as well. But if you're just joining us, guys, we're doing our live UFO UAP Skywatch tonight. They're coming to you live from Wiltshire here in the UK, right in the heart of Crop Circle country, and just down the road from Stone Henge. Hopefully, lots of strange and anomalous stuff for us to see tonight. The tracker is rolling, but where else will be on there? Carl's in over on the TikTok. And, oh, you've got grandkids tomorrow. We'll enjoy that one. Gandalf. And, yeah... Where are we down here as well? Raf is in. Marcus too. Loch Lomond is in there as well. Where are we jumping ahead to here as well? How are you guys doing? Right, yeah, there we go. Why is that one giving me multiple messages there? Anyway, guys, if you're just joining us, we're coming to you live from Wiltshire here in the UK, right in the heart of Crop Circle country, and just down the road from Stone Henge. So a long history of the weird and wonderful in these night skies. We should hopefully see some strange things. We've had a couple of anomalies over the last few days, so hopefully tonight will be no different there. But as that blue goes, that is the last bit of daylight from the sun. So hopefully, yeah, it will... Hold on, where's my buttons here? Yeah, hopefully, yeah, it's going to get nice and dark. We're going to see more stars, more moving objects, and more of that contrast there. Is this... We got clear skies. I don't know for how long, so we'll have to see how we're getting on down there as well. How you doing there, Grandmaster? Rich is in as well. Where are we? Living Light. Good to see you there, SK. Feed him exactly. Where did we get to? Why is it not connecting over to my YouTube chat? That is very frustrating. Oh well, let's see how we get on tonight. What have you been up to? I keep forgetting it's Sunday, and I'm... Damn it, the week is only ahead of us coming up there as well. But yeah, so we've got a few tracks. Oh my god, there's a few weird ones. Look how it's caught that star. That's a bit rubbish there. And... let's have a zoom in, shall we, on that one, because it's a little bit fast. It's a little bit fast. There we go. Nothing anomalous just yet, though. Keep an eye. Don't rely fully on the tracker. But if you're just joining us, do say hello. Let us know where you're all watching from tonight. We want to hear from you all. I'm going to give up. I'm trying a new chat window, and it's not having it at the minute. There, how you doing, Kate? Good to see you in. Coming in, yeah, I'm trying to combine my chats, and it's having a little bit of a sulk, typically, so it's throwing me off slightly, because I've got my other chat windows as backup in the other direction there. And Raf, since when do we get the opening sequence there? Shows I'm not on the startups. Yeah, you're slacking. So it's a new one. It's literally, this is only the second time we've used it for that. I wasn't sure if I could be bothered doing one, but then I thought, hell, I'd just like to play around to see what's going on. See what it looks like there. Just played a few hours of online gaming with your kids. I like that. Wish my old man had played with me as a kid there. I always refused to do it. Said adults didn't have imagination. So what was you playing there, Spare Rib? How you doing, Captain and Lee? Good to see you guys in. We're all good here. So... yeah, it's still not connecting to the old tubes on that one. That is very frustrating. I'm just going to try and problem solve whilst I'm on here. So it's going to be a bit of a... I'm going to be slightly distracted, guys. Sorry, guys. There we go. Anyway, where are we down there? And Sir Paul, how are you doing tonight? Thank you for gifting the membership. Gribbage, you got that. You'll be able to join us for our next deep dive. I think we're going to be looking at the NIDS website there, the National Institute for Discovery Science. That was Robert Bigelow's company, got the government contract. All of the Skinwalker Ranch stuff like that was done there. We're going to be looking at their old archived website. Lethal, how are you doing? Excuse me. Kayla, welcome aboard there. And Fat Alphonse Capone as well. Thank you for the follow. Where are you joining us from tonight? Carl and My Opinion. Guys, thank you for the gifts. Appreciate those. All goes back into the stream, helping us improve how we do things and what we're doing and all of that sort of jazz there as well. I think we're caught up. I'm trying a new combined chat, and it isn't working fully at the second, so that's why I'm a little bit off tonight, but we'll get there. We'll still see you all. If you're joining, guys, do say hello, let us know where you're watching from, and ask away any questions that you might have. No silly questions here at all, so yeah, feel free to ask away, but also if you've had an experience with the highly strange, we would love to hear about that one too. And Short Folk there has hopefully see a few meteors over the coming nights, hopefully, and the eclipse. I'm looking forward to the eclipse, but yeah, we are getting more into meteor season, so hopefully we're going to see some more shooting stars there. And Blue Nose, thank you for the gifts. It's very, very kind of you there as well. But yeah, so there's going to be a few interesting things in the old space calendar coming up, so you never know, might trigger things off. We was talking in the mods chat earlier about it's been a bit quiet for sightings lately. It definitely wasn't this quiet this time last year, so you know it'll all turn on a dime, as they say, and we'll be inundated there. And we're in trouble with the chat. It's as good as the chacker. Well, at the minute, Raf, yeah, you are right. It's doing the TikTok all right. Well, it was saying that it was, and the Twitch when we have that one. But it's struggling to connect to the YouTube chat and integrate that in one. So I'm across two different screens at the second. But in theory, well, not in theory, guys. The actual chat, so it's working on TikTok, and when we get it working for the YouTube, it will mean that the mods, you don't have to press the interactive grid button unless you want to. It should pick up people's grid references in the chat. So I was thinking of you there, Lethal, the ones that I miss. It should trigger the grid automatically as it's reading the messages for you. And also, it also means that Alan can have a chat with you. So rather than me just putting him on the screen, you can actually have a chat with Alan. Rio, how you doing? Oi oi as well. Where are we? Down over on the TikTok there. Tin Master as well. Thank you for the follow. Where are you in from there? I joined the Discord, the Patreon. I have the active. You got it. And but it's not letting you access. Oh, I'll look into that one, Lethal. Are you using the same email address on both? Because I'll have a look to see why it's not on there. Thank you for doing that, but I'll get that one sorted for you after the stream on there. And Rio, how are you doing? Trying to join the spaceship, so it should bring you in automatically for that one, even if you don't log in. But I will either way, so you can have a look at the other stuff as well. There, faint one in B2. Good spotting. I wonder. There we go. It worked. Didn't even have to press the button. There it goes. That worked. So yeah, the interactive grid works well there. The same. So yeah, okay, that'll be a system thing. I'll look into that one, Lethal. For that one, should be an easy enough fix. Just needs a slap every now and again. And what time is the moon crash tomorrow? You know what? I don't know. I think it's in the wee hours for us here on the UK. In the UK. And UFOs, how are you doing? Good to see you. And oh, another one there. Is that the same one it's doing? Yeah, I think it's just triggered the same one twice. That is why we're working on this. What's that saying? Let me just quickly see if we can get all of that working. Where did we get to as well? No, wrong one, Sam. Where do we get that? Laura last pop out in chat again and accused of being a scam artist. Yeah. Well, you will see how it comes. Yeah, there's always one, isn't there? And the conscious system. Sorry. There, how are you doing? Welcome aboard. Good to have you in. Where in the world are you joining us from? See if my new chat thing's going to work. The email the Y-files and get a podcast chat going between Alan and Hecklefish. Actually, yeah, that would be... I didn't realise, but he is a bit of a Hecklefish, isn't he, really, there? Totally unintentional. Only good Hecklefish is a dead Hecklefish. The missus can't stand him. Cannot stand him at all. There. Good using the interactive grid there for the spotting. The crossover would be a sick. Where did we get to with you guys in the TikTok chat? We're down here as well. Crash members text access. So it should, yeah. So it should be able to match you up. So that is an error on our end there. We'll get that one fixed. And Kate as well. Welcome in. No, done that one. Where are we down there? Good use. And that is this as well. And that should still work, Lethal, but thank you for the heads up there. Doug as well, welcome aboard. Where are you joining us from tonight? Good to have you in. And Chris, where else is the camera pointed but above England? So it's pretty much directly up. It's slightly south, but it is pretty much directly up there. So if you're just joining us tonight, guys, we're doing our live UK UFO Skywatch here, coming to you live from Wiltshire in the UK. Right in the heart of Crop Circle country and just down the road from Stone Henge. A long history of the weird and wonderful in these skies. So tonight should be no exception. It is lovely and clear for us here. So hopefully, yeah, we're going to see some strange things in the night sky. Let me just quickly check on this one there. Is this working? There we go. Right, where are we down here as well? Let's have a look. Where's my chat coming up to a night? Forgot the stickers with that one, exactly. Oh, thank you, Lethal. Yeah, it should still work either way on all of those. It's just sometimes the system has a sulk every now and again. DJ Lethal's not coming in with the gifts. Appreciate that one. Marcus, thank you for the follow. Where are you in from? And do appreciate that one there as well, Lethal. Rolling in, supporting us in not just in your awesome knowledge about all the specifics, but in all the other ways there as well. Kenny, where are you joining us from? Thank you for the shares. About 2 hours. Yeah, sometimes it has a little bit of a salt, but I'll have a look into that one there. And the green line circles satellite paths, most likely satellites, yeah. So what we're doing is we're tracking the moving objects, the light up there that is reflecting that sunlight back down to us here on Earth. And we're looking for the strange movement there, the strange behaviours. We're looking for these objects to stop dead, shoot off at speed, change their course or trajectory, because that tells us for sure that it is something a little bit stranger indeed in the night sky. Satellites just can't, or man-made satellites cannot operate like that. Oh, that one's lost its track, so it tells us it's strange. But until it does something anomalous, and they're normally going red, yeah, then we just have to assume it's most likely to be a man-made satellite. Although we can't know for sure until we match them up specifically. And Pancake there, thank you for feeding Alan.
Nom nom nom, thanks guys.
Appreciate you there. Where did we get to as well? Alan's alright, he's surviving there. And no worries, Lethal, we'll get on that one. And Ireland, yeah, Ireland is very, very active for the phenomenon, like very, very active. It's disproportionately so with the members that we have coming here. Scotland's very active, Wales too, but I can't decide which one. England, surprisingly, I mean, you get a lot, but it is nowhere near as the other countries are there. And coming in again, feeding Alan.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate that one. Where did we get to round here? King Lethal, thank you for the heads up. I should be able to check that one out in a second. All right, where did we over on the tube chat? Just read about how the man-made objects orbit on the Earth. 29,000 there. Starlink has put up 10,000. It is crazy how much is up there. Just I think Starlink alone, 95% of mass to orbit is from SpaceX. There, they've totally changed the game with all of that. It's second day off of 10 there, and I'm a little bit bored until work. They'll be ringing you up there. And Pancake there coming in again, feeding Alan.
Nom nom nom, thanks.
Thank you for those. Not start exactly there. And what time will the object strike the moon? I've heard it's the morning for us here in the UK, but I don't know. Somebody in the chat will 100% know that one. Right. Let's check that, see if I can get trying to get this new chat, this combined chat to work again. There's lots of cool new features when that does work, but that's why I'm a little bit distracted tonight. But guys, if you're joining us, we're doing our live UFO UAP Skywatch, coming to you live from Wiltshire here in the UK, right in the heart of Crop Circle country, and just down the road from Stone Henge. So lots of weird and wonderful things in the night sky here, and tonight should be no exception. Why has this one not got tracked? Let's have a look on that one.
Zoom mode activated.
That one's not got picked up, but it is bright enough, so I'm not sure why the tracker has missed that one. We need to see it stop dead, shoot off at speed, to change its course or trajectory for us to know for sure that it is something a little bit more anomalous, one of the many, many man-made objects up there. Coloration and flashing can be of interest too, so yeah, do say hello as you're joining us there, and let us know where you're watching from. Ask away any questions as well. There's no silly questions here to be worried about. Going through the laptop out of the window. Oh, Lethal, apologies. Yeah, sometimes the system has a bit of a sulk on those ones. I'll line it up. It should just take a little bit of a kick to get it rolling. And you saw something one time looked like a satellite, but it stopped and moved, and it happened a few years ago. What was that one, Chris? I can't remember that one. It would be cool, though, wouldn't it? If hold on, let me just check my chat. That is the sort of thing we're looking for. We're looking for it to stop dead, shoot off at speed, or change its course or trajectory, because that tells us for sure that it is something more anomalous in the night sky. Is that one going to correctly connect to there now? Okie dokie. Just waiting for the YouTube to kick in, hopefully. Oh, be free there, Emilio. Good spot in there. Moonraker, how are you doing? And oh yeah, if anyone sees the shooting stars, give us a stamp there. So over on the Discord as well, guys, if you've got any good shots that you want to send in, Kate's going to do some community posts and stuff like that. So you can share those on Kate's message there in the general section of the Discord there, and hopefully we can do a post of some of your guys' work too. Emilio is in. How are you there? Ed's Evil Twin, good to see you in there. And what is that ping in the chat? It's appearing in the microwave. That's my Rustler burger. That is done. That's a very good point there. Don't need that one on. Coming in. 90 watching already over there. 95 on the TikTok as well, which is a bit anomalous. We're tracking these objects in the night sky. Look at the redness of those stars around there. As soon as you say it, it changes. But yeah, we are tracking all of these objects in the night sky here tonight, and we are looking out for the ones that are a little bit strange. They're the ones that cannot be man-made objects. That's what we're looking for. We can zoom in on the good stuff. Right, is that one going to work? Where are we? Over there. Sorry, guys. I'm doing a little bit of problem solving as we're running here. Chris is awesome in Hampshire. Welcome aboard, Chris. You're not too far from us. Have you ever seen anything strange in the Hampshire sky as well? Would love to hear about those ones. So I was waiting for the action to happen. The cheeky satellites don't want to be tracked. Some of them really don't. And I was trying to figure this one out last night of why it wasn't picking up some of the others. And yeah, it doesn't look like any of the fixes have fixed that one there. So don't rely fully on the tracker. Yeah, it always happens, Kate. There, Trevor as well. Nice for watching. Thumbs up, people. Thank you for that, guys. It is the likes, the shares, the tapping away, all of that jazz that helps us reach more and more like-minded people like yourselves. And the more eyes and minds on the old phenomena, the more we can all piece this puzzle together. It is very, very busy, and it is lovely and clear, which I wasn't fully surprised relying on tonight. Right, where are we? Back over to the TikTok chat. Where did we... So, Kenny, what's the best thing that you have spotted in the night skies out of Ireland? Sorry. And... Adam is in. How are you doing? And the spent upper stage of SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket is scheduled to crash into the moon August the 5th. Okay, it's a couple of days. Yeah, it's a couple of days. Do we know what sort of time? And it was just me in my garden after work one night and made me a believer. Oh, Chris, you spotted it. So it is that movement that is highly strange there. You know, we don't have an explanation for what man-made stuff can act like that. It is a very, very anomalous. It's not even just like a couple of degrees ahead of technology. Oh, it's, you know, a fighter jet in 10 years' time. It's more of a physics question. When you're at these sorts of altitudes, everything is falling to Earth in a big circle. It takes a lot of energy to start doing all that sort of stuff. You've got to work with the motion most of the time. How you doing, Ra? Seen anything today? Not yet, but the last few nights have been quite fruitful. So we are now. It's clear tonight. I'm quietly optimistic that we should get some interesting activity. The last few nights we have had a few things here and there. And Chloe as well. Thank you for the shares. Massive appreciation there. And where are we? Down here. I thought you were meaning me when I read it, Laura Lass. Yeah, that's what I was like. What? No, it's the lass called Laura. It was mentioned over there. Yeah, it took me a second. British summertime. So 7:35 to 7:44 a.m. there. Thank you, Lee, for that one. Thought we'd been out a second. And Chris there. I love looking up this live page. It's great. Saves from neck pain. Thank you, Chris. Massive appreciation for that one. I love having you in. Living life.
Nom nom nom.
Thank you for feeding Alan there as well. And where are we? Down here as well. And Lee, I saw two moving side by side last night, and I can see how people would think it should go. See, this has been something that the more I'm starting to look, the more I've those write-off explanations that we all like laugh at and complain about, the more I kind of go, right, I can see how some people do fall for Venus. I do fall for the flares and stuff like that, you know, because they don't actually look, you know, that, you know, they do look a little bit odd if you're not used to seeing those sorts of things. Obviously, it's not the explanation for everything, but I don't think it was as ridiculous as I first thought there. And Ollie there, anyone seen activity tonight there? Not yet, we're just tracking the objects there. Last time that. That went straight from my brain, Laura Lass, as well. Adam as well coming in for the shares. Right, over on the... I think that was UK time. Where are we? Over here. Sorry, my chat. Where I'm doing this thing, it's... I'm trying to integrate our two chats, and it is not having it at the minute. So I've got it all out of routine, which is throwing me off. They're in a different order, so I think I'm reading TikTok and I'm reading YouTube. Oh, actually, sure, it says 6:35. Oh, so is that the hour difference there? Where did we get to? Let me scratch around here. Marcus is in as well. Good to see you there. Stewman, good to see you. Wreckhead as well. Welcome aboard. Evening, just a quick drop in there. Been lurking the past couple of nights. It's ACDC there. Always seem to miss the strange things come up here. Oh, I honestly, the amount of things that I miss, I just read you guys telling me in the chat, and I will turn around and I've already gone. So I feel that one there as well. Oh, good. With that one, lethal as well. So it might be worth actually, because of the delay, when you are calling out the grid references, it might be best to pick the square you think it's going to be in, because then by the time it comes through and the video delay, that might be a way of doing it. Let's have a look, see if that one works. So we're testing out this new joint stream chat thing that I'm building. So I can have all of my chat in one place and read you all in real time rather than having to go from one to the other. It's not quite having it at the second. When it's done, it should mean that basically it'll be easier for me to read everything, but also it will read the comments, and if you call out the grid references like that, so it's working with TikTok at the seconds, you're calling out the grid references when you're seeing something, it will trigger the automatic grid, there you go, just like that, basically, and therefore, Yeah, should load up now, I think. Yeah, it should. So, yeah, save the mods having to press the button. Oh, I think TikTok is coming into that chat now. Hold on, let's have a look. Where did we get to over on this chat? Okay, looks like it's now bringing in YouTube as well occasionally, anyway. Right, where did we get to over all of these chats? Vega is very bright this evening. Dean, it very, very much is. Oh, flash in A4 as well. Good spotting. And imagine if half the Cold War was each side confusing UAPs with each other as others' capabilities. So, Chris, this could be part of it. The reason they have that red telephone, you know, the president to the Russian president, it's in the official documents because of UFOs. They did not want to confuse a UFO with an ICBM and start nuking each other, basically. So, it is a bit of a... That is why they got the red phone. So, it was a considered thing. And James is in there. The tracker is it is a little bit tonight, sadly. We'll get there with it. And Vega is very bright and very beautiful. I think the moon is down a little bit more than it has been lately, so we're going to get to see more colours of those stars, more stars sort of overall with all of this. Where did we... I'm going to go over to my main chat here, so we'll see if this works. Oh, I think it's just not consistent enough with the YouTubes. Let me catch up over on this one, and then we'll start using it once I've caught up across the board. And little trolley there. Where are you down there? And what are the gremlins doing? Oh no, you're having a chat into. And I switched over to the tubes there, and I can see a TikTok chat, so it's working perfectly there. Where are we over here? I think I've caught up with the YouTubes, right, so now I'll be picking that one up from there. Where do we get to with you TikTokers in the chat? Do it, Chris, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Sally as well, thank you for the follow. Where are you joining us from? And Chris there, thank you for the gifts. It all goes back into the stream. They're helping us improve what we are doing there. It all goes straight back in, no down the pub for us. And we got to around here. And Sky Captain there, you think you know English until you hear a Brit speak it. Yeah, and the regional accents are crazy. We've just moved here to the West Country, and oh my God, the farmer voices, you can barely understand half of them. It's really quite jarring. How you doing, Marcus, in there over on the TikToks as well? We've had a few interesting ones lately. We have had a few, but we've not had a lot of the middle range ones. You know, it's interesting, but we can't quite say. Normally there's like loads of them. Was that a flasher or is that a flarer? Just up there in C1. Is it being tracked now? No, the one behind it's being tracked, but it's following the same orbit. There it goes. Now it's trying to track itself now. It might be a little bit faint for the tracker. Marius, thank you for the follow. Where are you joining us in from tonight there? And Marcus, thank you for the gift. I think I missed a few of those. Chris as well there, Marcus. Pink, Floyd, Lethal, and Blue Nose. And Laura Lass there with the gifts. Blue Nose again there. Thank you for all those. I've totally missed him. Rio coming in there, feeding Alan as well.
Nom. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we're going to have to improve this tracker. And Danny, how are you doing there? Trying to find my place. Where did we get to? Don't want to make sure I'm missing anybody's comment there. And now we're down here, I think. And Laura Lass sent a treasure box. I hope you guys thank Laura Lass when you claim the coins are there. And where are we down here? Lethal, you've got the proper farmer accent. I love it. It's really like, because obviously I'm very common from Essex there like that, so it throws me off every now and again. Then wait until you go up north though. And I'm glad to hear it there, Danny. And Silkers as well. Can I ask how this works? So yeah, it's a good question. What we're doing, live camera, looking to the night sky here live in Wiltshire. Said right in the heart of crop circle country and just down the road from Stone Henge. So a long history of the weird and wonderful in these night skies. Tonight should be no exception for the strange, the highly strange, but we're looking for these objects that are moving around up there, and we're looking for the ones that act a little bit strangely. So there's going to be a lot of man-made satellites. That's mostly what we're tracking at the second. That's too faint to zoom in on. The next one we'll zoom in on. Yeah, but we're looking for the ones that stop dead, shoot off at speed, to change their course or trajectory, because that tells us for sure that they are a little bit more anomalous there. Carl as well coming in, feeding Alan.
Nom. Thanks, guys.
And Kate as well coming in with gifts. Thank you for those. I appreciate that one. Floofy too. Coffee. Alan can have coffee.
Thanks,
and
guys.
let me catch up here. So that's what we're looking. There we go. We've got some answers here. Right, there we go. So what the system does, it's looking for these moving dots here. Again, most of these, most likely, are going to be man-made satellites. There's a hell of a lot of them up there. So, oh God, zoom out. So we're looking for the ones that act a little bit strangely. So that one, for some reason, it wanted to lock onto that star. That is really having a sulk tonight there. Let me turn up the brightness, see if that will stop that from happening a little bit. And maybe turn down a bit. There we go. So yeah, what it does is it identifies the movement with the target symbol, plots the course in the white behind it, uses that to predict the straight path in front of it, which if it's a satellite, it will work like that. And then if it's following it along, acting like a satellite, it will just go green. If it goes red, then that is when we need to pay it more attention. And down here, we're all good there. So it's a good question. And oh God, it's coming through 8,000 times as well. Speak fluent. You do, Raf. And can confirm. Oh, I'm far behind on this one. And Highlander there, you have a lot of light pollution there. You need to come up where I am. It's next to zero. God, Highlander, I wish I really would. This is great compared to where I was in Essex. Far too built up there. I never even saw a satellite with my own eyes until moving here. But yeah, so this is great compared to where we was. But yeah, this I can imagine a zero. We've got Dark Sky Reserve quite close by, so we want to do those ones. And there's that Ed's Evil Twin there. Warminster had a UFO flat back in the early 70s, and also there is a story about a very haunted hill that locals won't direct you to. Oh, I've not heard about the haunted hill. That I need to check out. But yeah, the flap, it's called the Warminster thing. It was the 60s and the 70s, and it was probably the best UFO flap that I have ever heard of. It was consistent for about 10, 12, 13 years, something like that. You could turn up any weekend and have a sighting. It had everything with it, hence why we're called the Thing. We're following that tradition of the old Skywatchers, seeing if there's anything strange going on, and so far it does look like there are still some strange things going on there. Carl, Lethal, Rio, Kate there, and Floofy coming in with the extra gifts. Thank you for those. Vass, where are you joining us from tonight there? Thank you for the follow. Guys, if you're new here, do say hello. Let us know where you're watching from tonight. And just checking that's working. Yeah, and yeah, say hello, let us know what you're from, and let us know if you've had any strange experience with phenomena. Would love to hear about that one. Marcus coming in with the gifts there. Christopher 2, Lethal. Same to you, Ryan. Welcome in there. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the gifts as well. It all goes back into the stream. Help us improve what we are doing. And let's scroll through here. Bradsky, how are you? Guess who's back? How have you been, Rad? It's good to see you. Just trying to check this out. Oh my God, I'm getting multiple messages here of the same thing. That's just my chat playing up, guys. Your superhero name. How are the trackers tracking? So it's quite simple. It looks for basically light objects, and look how bright that one is that it's not getting.
Zoom mode activated.
Look at that one, the coloration of that is proper bright, especially compared to that one next to it. Keep your eyes on it. Oh God, if you can, there it is. And see if it does anything strange. So yeah, it's just looking for brightness over each frame of the video, and it sees what ones are moving. So it's quite simple. And down here as well, waiting 91 there, waiting for ET disclosure. It feels like it could be on the horizon, doesn't it? Christopher as well, how are you doing there? Newgrange in Ireland is older than Stone Henge. Alex, it is there. There's quite a lot of sites, aren't there, that actually are older. Stone Henge gets the attention, doesn't it, because of I think it's just the way those stones are stacked. It looks kind of striking, doesn't it? There's lots of large stones on their own, but they were stacked, so it gets a little bit of attention, doesn't it? But Newgrange is a really, really interesting place. There's a chap called, oh my God, what's Jeffrey Drum, Land of Chem on YouTube. Really cool videos about, not just about the pyramids and Giza there, but his theory is that they're all sort of chemical plants. He talks about Newgrange a lot in there. And scrolling down here, and I wonder what the night sky looked like in 1726 there. Surely calmer. After all, we've shot our toys up into the night sky, living like, I think you're bang on. And well, it definitely would have been calmer. I mean, look at the lot we're seeing now. Even in our short time of doing this, we have noticed it increase with the more and more satellites they're putting up there. But these objects were still seen, not to the same degree, because obviously a lot of them, most of them are going to be man-made, but they were still seen occasionally. You know, there are lights in the sky moving, something up there reflecting that sun's light back down to us here on Earth. What are they if it was well before man had stuff up there? But they are actually recorded as well. And down here as well, scroll through these ones. Sorry guys, my little chat, new chat is a bit buggy at the second, so I'm trying to find out where we are in some of these as well. Avstar and Chris, good spotting are there. So if you type in the grid coordinates, that's when the boxes appear, so it draws our attention to it. How much the stream has come along. Oh, and it's buggy though, Brad. It's buggy. But we've got some extra features now. Something I'd entertain time traveller for, to see the night sky with zero light pollution. Yeah, I could get with that. I mean, where would you go, Kate, if you could go anywhere in history? It's got to be the pyramids first for me. I want to see them being built. And good spot in there, Earth Star as well. Nokia 3310. Scrolling through here. Let me just get on this one. I think this is still a bit too buggy to be using for the main one. Where did we go? Over to Harko. How are you doing there? Thank you for the gifts. Laura Lass too. Feeding Alan. Sorry,
thanks,
I'm
guys.
trying to work this new chat out, and it's throwing me off a little bit. Where did we get to? I'm going to go back to the old chat just for a second to make sure we are where we are there. And no, I did that one, didn't we? Did these ones and Oxy as well. There, what camera are you using? It's a Sony A7S, I think. Software is a genius way of sifting the signal from the noise. Thank you, Chris. That is what we're trying to do, because really it's quite limited what we can do from down here. So we've got to work with the tools that we have, and it's mainly the light that we're seeing and how that light behaves. And can we help us filter out there? Because there are so many man-made satellites. They're cool to watch, but it's not what we're after. We need to see those anomalies. And the next stage for the tracker, well, next stage is trying to get those tracks a little bit better, a little bit more accurate. Then once we've got that, it's recognizing what part of the night sky it's in, get all the system to recognize, and then we can overlay the known satellites that are being tracked. The witch is here. What's that? Who's that for there, Harko? And the picture on YouTube when you laptop is so much better than on TikTok. Guys, it is worth it. If you are on the TikTok, this is what we look like over on the tubes. It's round the right way. There's more of that, less of my face, and also some other contextual analysis. So definitely have a look over there. It is worth it. Yes, yeah, this is all of us. We're making this, and that's why it's always breaking there. And the purple one's the Orion. No, so that one is Vega, actually. Good spot. The big, beautiful
Zoom
purple
mode
one
activated.
is a Vega. There we go. Let me just try this last thing. So we're doing a bit of live testing of some stuff tonight, so I'm very much all over the shop trying to do that and do the live stream at the same time. So it's not your normal service. Come back tomorrow and we'll be much better than this. So take me a second to get around to it, but it will be worth it, guys, because I said we're now able to automate to some degree the grid there, so you don't have to wait for anybody to press the buttons. We can see where the action is. So if you call out a grid reference, you know, A2, for example, if you're seeing something there that's not being tracked, or we need to pay more attention to it, then yeah, you can call out the grid reference. But what I would, and you type it in the chat, and then the system will recognize it and do it. But there's a bit of a delay by the time you get the video out, and then the chat reads your message. So try and actually call out the box that you think it's going to be in next. That gives it enough time to kind of highlight it in the real time there. Where are we? Sorry, guys, jumping ahead on me now. Right, let me just try this one. Once it all works, guys, it's going to be wonderful. But we've got to do our bug testing. Where did we get to? Yeah, where is your version, Raf? Just an ordinary All-Sky RP I4K HQ camera. So obviously I want to get an All-Sky camera. It's a little bit of a backup there, have it running all day, running some software and stuff. So that is next on our list there. And Dean, as you had a right angle track in B1 about 15 minutes ago. Not sure if it was too intercepting the actual right angle track. So those ones, that's catching us out a bit at the minute. If the tracking alignment crosses right at the perfect time, then sadly, you know, one track can jump to the other, which it wasn't doing. Now it is bloody doing it. So we'll have to watch that back in the footage to confirm, because that is also exactly what we'd expect it to look like. Down here as well, flash a good spot in there, Spare Rib. Easter Island moon rocket. So Easter Island is very, very interesting for the megalithic structures there. It's a very interesting place. I think it's got a lot of the navel of the world. There's some stuff there that don't add up. Maybe, you know, there was a larger continent there before the sea levels rose. Maybe there is a civilization. And Chris there, Tenerife is a good place to see the sky there. We saw a Starlink swarm. I didn't know what it was at first. And I totally get why it catches people out. Totally get why it catches people out, because they do look really impressive, don't they? And if you've never seen one before, and it's only recently that we've obviously had Starlink, isn't it, in the last few years, then look, it didn't get the brighter one, but it's got the fainter one behind it, and now they're catching up, so the other one must be faster. It's doing an awful job with the track, though. I'm going to turn up the brightness on this, or the sensitivity a little bit there, because I think that might be why we get so many dodgy ones. Maybe. But yeah. Oh, look, Lemon, you caught that one as well. How you doing, Tank? Good to see you there. But yeah, Tenerife is a really good place. We're looking at maybe renting a telescope there or something for the off-season so we get some clear skies. And KEA1, good spot in there. Look, you're making use of the interactive grid. Crossed over in a straight line. Pan, how are you doing there? Since finding your channel there, you have relaunched my interest in the weird and wonderful words of aliens, etc. Skinny Bog video was interesting, wasn't it? And I'm glad to hear it. I mean, I think, you know, look, to be honest, guys, you know, even if we saw ET fly as it goes past the screen, you know, we've seen some anomalies, but if we got the full saucer in shot, ET giving us a wave, we post that video, and everybody gets AI anyway. So we're not unlikely, are we, to single-handedly break this for everybody. But if we can get everybody in, get more people looking at the night sky, I think that's the best way that we can have an effect there. More people being open-minded, more people looking, more people searching, more people seeing things. So I love that one. Good spotting, guys, there. Moonraker as well. Jumping ahead. And what was the last movie watch? Oh, we did Risen, I think. It was on Amazon Prime. That was our last movie club. We're voting on the next one now. So if you're in the Discord, guys, you can vote on our next movie club watch. Pierre, how are you doing? Good use of the grid there, Katie, and need to overlay as a separate things. Yeah, we do. Blame Alan chewing the wires. He's always doing something. Now I can't. I have to wait a second before it tries to catch to try to connect to TikTok. I've got the YouTube working, but now the TikTok chat isn't connecting on this one. So we will. What it is, we'll stop that for the second. Give it a break, and then it should work in a minute. Right. We will get it working. We will get it working. And good use there, adds as well of the grid. Where are we? Down here as well. And it's also really bright and fast, really fast there. Satellites last night, whilst watching the meteor shower, at least I think they were satellites. So it's hard to tell, isn't it, Oyo 70? It really is. Because again, we're getting limited data from up here. And a UFO flying around there from A to B is going to look very much like one of those satellites. It's going to reflect that sun's light back. If it's in the right position, it's going to be travelling in a straight line at a consistent speed, like a satellite, because there's not much to avoid when you're up there. So it is sometimes very, very hard to tell. That is why we're hunting. We're looking out for that strange and anomalous movement. So we're going to see a lot of light. Well, we've got a flasher. I think it is. There it is. Just zoom in on this one.
Mode activated.
It's not getting picked up on the tracker yet, but oh, there we go. Right. It stopped flashing, though. Let's have a look. All right, there you go. Keep it. Remember, follow it across the screen. Even if it's not doing anything strange now, it only takes that last minute hesitation or course correction for us to know that it's something a little bit stranger. Keys jab. And what about those mirrors that they were thinking about to create the sunlight? I like technology. I like things pushing the boundaries, but that for me, that feels a little bit too like meddling. You know, the law of unintended consequences. What trouble would they cause? Clouds seem to help the track out when they are just faint, and I wonder if it's struggling to pull them when they are more visible. So that might be. I did try to increase the brightness and also the top end speed. We know what the track they might be doing. They might be minimising the background noise because that twinkling to it looks a lot like movement as well. It's Lord Bentos. He very much is. And really fast. I've never seen them that fast. There will be, I think, speed limits up there, but again, it's hard to tell until we know their distance. Closer they are, the faster they're going to look. Further away, because it's a longer orbit, it's going to take a while, isn't it, there? But it can still be a very interesting sight. Thank you for sharing that one. Opening with the tin for his hard work. It definitely is. Raf, what do you reckon? Right, where are we over on the TikTok? Let's see if we can get you in. Where did we get to? And Silka's there. Can you take your system outside, or is it fixed? So it is possible to take this outside. I haven't. Well, we do lives on location, and we go to the old Iron Age hill forts locally where there's been a history of sightings here in Wiltshire, so obviously the heart of crop circle country, and we want to do a UFO UK tour, like hotspot tour. I'm going to kick that off of Rendlesham Forest. That's where all the revenue goes at the minute. It goes straight back into that, so we can kick that one off, you know, the site of the landing / crash from the 1980s just outside the US airbase. So I think that's going to be cool when we do it. So we can take most of it with us, essentially. The tracking software, I haven't done that one yet, but there should be a way of doing it. But you get is white by the eye leaf. Yeah, so our lens does kind of amplify a few things. few of the colours. And Robert is in. How are you there? Guys, if you're new here, we're doing a live UFO, a UAP, a Skywatch tonight there. We're coming to you live from Wiltshire here in the UK, right in the heart of Crop Circle country, and just down the road from Stone Henge. So a long history of the weird and wonderful in these night skies. Do say hello. I said, let us know where you're watching from, and make sure you are following, subscribe, whatever it is, wherever you are, because we're on pretty much every night. And look, with all the clear skies that we are having, well, there's going to be a lot of sky watching, I think, coming up for us there. So you should get us notifications when we go live. Lima as well, thank you for the shares. It is the likes, the shares, the tapping away, all of that jazz that helps us reach more and more like-minded people like yourselves. And I say the more eyes and minds on the old phenomena, the more we can all piece this puzzle together. You never know who's going to come in and what experience that they are going to share with us. Yeah, I'm just working my way through the TikTok chat, then I'll be back over to the tubers. And when it went through A2, it was bright and then dim and then bright again. So it's a good little flasher up there. We will see a few of those tonight, and they are very interesting. Chris, I think there's something going on in Antarctica. I think there's going to be at least something very, very, very interesting under the ice. I don't know exactly what yet. I've heard some interesting stories, and I do lean to it. I mean, the Admiral Byrd stuff for me is really, really interesting. So I wouldn't be surprised there. Giza as well, thank you for the follow. Where are you in from? And we watched Disclosure Day last night. Amazing film. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. And I took the message from it that is, that we're ready. It's that we're ready to have those experiences. I feel like that's what the point of it was there. Lethal and Poppet as well there. Thank you for the gifts. Harko too and Robert. Thank you, appreciate those. All goes back into the stream, helping us improve what we're doing. Where did we get to in the chat? It's just jumped ahead on me. Where are we? Down here. Sorry guys, I'm trying to find it. We got to Giza, didn't we? And Disclosure Day there. Good to put use to the grid, guys. And JS456, welcome aboard. Where are you in from? And Loris, do you think they'll do a second Disclosure Day with it being left on a cliffhanger? I don't think so. I don't think so with that one. Maybe wrong, but I heard a lot of talk about it being Spielberg's sort of swan song on the UFO subject. But I don't know how true that is there. And Bradsky, sending you my news. Excellent. I'll have a look at that one in a second once it's calmed down a bit. Thank you for that. Watched the Gracefield incident on Prime. I've not seen that one. Creepy. We'll have to add that one to the list if we haven't already for Movie Club. And WB95, is this real or is it a game? Good question. This is real. This is a live camera in my garden, said right here in the heart of Crop Circle country, just down the road from Stone Henge. So long history of weird and wonderful things in these night skies tonight. So what we're doing is we're looking with the camera live feed. Hold on, where's my cursor? There it is. And we're looking to track these objects that we're seeing flying around up there. You see the little faint lines? Some of them are a lot brighter, some of them are faster. There's a range, but essentially, that one lost it. It was too faint there. But essentially, there's a lot of things up there in orbit of the Earth that's reflecting the sun's light back down to us. And, we want to look to see those, and we want to look to see the ones that are acting strangely there. So we're stopping dead, shooting off at speed, change their course or trajectories. How we're filtering out the tons and tons of man-made satellites up there. That's a good question. Jay and 28EZ as well. Thank you guys for the follow. Where are we in from? Silkas, have you thought about multiple channel users with the software from different areas of sky? So I would love to. I keep thinking we've got a lot of time available on our schedule, and there's a lot of dark places around the world. So I wouldn't mind bringing in sort of other people and sort of letting them use this. I think that could be pretty cool. I just need to meet some cool ones. And I'm also antisocial. It's awesome. Thank you, WB9 there. And together, exactly, Kate. And is there going to be an eclipse on Wednesday? Is it Wednesday or is it the 12th? Or is it? Oh God, I've lost the dates in my head now. I know there's one coming up. There, Robert, there preparing for sleep there and watching the sky until my eyes close. Hey, if you're enjoying it, I like that. And Geordie as well. Southwest coast of Scotland. There, the sky is alive. The sky is alive. The first time I got the camera settings right, and good this, I come up here. I went, oh my God, we're being invaded. And I realised they were just a lot of them were, Earth satellites. There was nothing special to them. But the skies are so busy there. And Awaken with Adam. Good to have you in. Where are you joining us from? Thank you for the follow. There's got to be something under it. Old Antarctica. Well, we know there's definitely going to be something under it. Like that continent was in a much more hospitable place. It definitely had life there, agriculture, animals, megafauna, all those sorts of things. Now, where there's civilizations, I think there probably is under there. I think, when we get down and have a look, and maybe a few people have already had a look there. Where? Let's have a look. I watched Disclosure Day and then looked outside and I saw a flash and it looked like it was moving around. So what was the movement like there, Waken? Because it's all about the movement, isn't it? We see lots of interesting things, but for us to conclusively write off and explain away all of the satellite stuff, we need to see it to stop dead, shoot something strange there. But those flashes, every now and again when I'm packing the camera up, at the corner of my eye, just a boom, a really bright flash of light. I think they call them iridium flares. So the mainstream will just tell you that they're basically solar panels from the craft that are up there, and they just rotate at the right place there to catch the sunlight. Did you see them like that on the side there? Just flash it back down to us. The problem is we see them so bloody much that I don't think that's... And they were seen as well before man had satellites up there in space, or well before man had satellites up there in space. So what was causing it back then? And they are recorded. Images, photographic plates from observatories have noticed these things. You're annoyed with the ending now. And Screwface as well, thank you for the follow. Good to have you in. The majority of solar eclipse, so weather depending, on the 12th. So it should be the 12th, yeah, weather depending here. And hello, I'm doing a survey there. Do you support... no, thank you, user, there. As well, thank you for the follow. Good to have you in. And let's get rid of you. There we go. Janie, how are you doing there? Thank you for the gift, that's very kind of you. And South Polar Island, how are you doing there? Where is Princess Gitty? Who's that one? Mikhail as well there. I see a lot of meteors when I look up there, sometimes 2, 3 in the same night. We go through phases where we will sometimes see loads in the night sky, and it's all about the brightness, how big they are, how much heat they're going to generate when they enter the atmosphere, and how much we're going to see that visible light. Sometimes they come across the screen perfectly framed. You see the tower is just absolutely beautiful to see. I haven't seen a proper good one in a while. We've had a few faint ones. I can see satellites moving past, but it was, but this was in the same place and moving in circles. Awakened, bang on. That is anomalous. If you've got reasonable confidence on the altitude of it, you know it's far enough out there. We do not have technology that can move like that up in space. That is really interesting. And they bypassed your Kate. And could you overlay the software on any live feed, as in third party? Yeah, it does work well. I have not made it available, but you know, it will be at some point, basically. In theory, it can be to anyone there. We need to get it to be able to recognise and label the stars is the next one, and then we can overlay on the tracked objects what known satellites are. They are there helping us filter out a bit more. And as Audi there, can you please explain what the green and the red lines are showing? Good question, Audi. So they are our tracking lines. We're tracking these moving objects moving in the night sky. So there's a lot of man-made satellites up there. There's a hell of a lot of them up there. And we need to be able to filter them out as best we can with the limited data that we have. We're looking for the potential UFOs amongst them. So the only way we can really confidently do that is by their movement. So we're looking for the rare ones that stop dead, shoot off at speed, or change their course or trajectory, because that is just behaviour that man-made satellites, anything really passive in orbit, their space junk, whatever it is, they can't move like that. They're falling to Earth. And to us, that looks like a big circle, a big line, basically. Big straight line on the screen at a consistent speed. So the tracker is basically going, identifying the movement, predicting that straight path, and then following along. And if it's green, it's not giving us any evidence that it's anomalous. If it's red, pay a bit more attention, it could be strange. Now, it does get the tracking alignments a little bit wrong sometimes, and therefore they go red, so you've still got to look, but that's what we're looking for there. And looking at it, a camera, yeah, it's a camera set up outside. It's directly in front of me here, right in the heart of crop circle country here in Wiltshire, just down the road from Stone Henge. So there's a long history of the weird and wonderful in these night skies. In fact, the little town that we're in is called Warminster, and basically we had a UFO flap here in the 60s and 70s. It's probably the best one that I've ever heard of. It was constant for over 10 years of, sightings there, landings, abductions, missing time, all of that sort of jazz there. I mean, you name it, in fact, it had it here. So yes, one of those rare places, I think. Probably one of the best like hotspot locations, I would say. Let's have a look. And Rick there, I had a drone fly over me that looked military, but I can't find it listed on any military hardware site. So it could be in the old, in that technical area, couldn't it, of, it's still classified, whatever that technology is, but maybe not. Was it silent? Because that would be the giveaway. So there are certain things that the physics of our modern technology doesn't allow. So it's not that, it's a few generations ahead, in that category of they haven't told us about it yet, but to have properly silent aircraft, we don't have that. We haven't figured out how to stop the sound of things passing through air making noise. So that is where the real technical parts of these fall short. So yeah, if it was silent, that's one of those observables. 90-degree turns can be a bit of a giveaway as well. Audi as well, thank you for the follow. And I get tricked a lot by the Starlinks. I always think it's an alien invasion at first. Oh, Mikhail, the same. Like when the ISS goes over, the International Space Station, it is the biggest, brightest thing up there and the fastest thing. And it's normally like a month or two in between sightings. And every time I see it and go, oh my God, we've got another one. And no, it's the ISS. So I get why people think it there. And no worries, Audi. I appreciate the questions, guys. Ask away any questions you might have. There's no silly questions here at all. But yeah, if you're just joining us, it's our live UFO UAP Skywatch night coming to you live from Wiltshire here in the UK, right in the heart of Crop Circle country and just down the road from Stone Henge. We're on pretty much every night, so make sure you're following and subscribed, whatever it is, wherever you are. I said Skywatch is on clear nights, and we've got a lot of clear nights ahead of us, so we're going to have a lot of them. But if not, it's an alien radio signal hunt. Searching the hydrogen line like the film Contact, hoping to hear ET say hello. Same frequency that the WOW signal was heard back in the 70s and many more anomalous ones. And if the moon's up, I'm not going to be bothered. It looks like that, and we see strange things there too. So yeah, hopefully you'll get those notifications when we go live. Like what I saw, it's stop and start. So Chris, that is very, very anomalous, isn't it? That sort of movement behaviour there. And I thought most satellites travel from west to east there, but I see it tracking from north / south on the screen. So they do, because that's the rotation of the Earth. And that's just the easiest orbit. But there's a lot more that aren't doing that now. They're going the other way, retrograde. But you also got the polar orbits of up and down. There's so many up there now. What portal level are you in? That rings a bell. What is that for? That does ring a bell. I feel like I've heard that one on a science podcast and then forgotten what it actually was. Who do you think built Stone Henge? So I don't need aliens to have built Stone Henge, but I do need a better explanation of what we think it was used for and what the culture was that built it at the time. Oh, thank you for the drink there. Zach and Mikhail, thank you for the follow, guys. Good to have you in. Where are you joining us from in the world? Oh, light pollution level. You know what? I don't actually know. We're on the edge of a dark sky reserve. All I know is it's a lot better here than it was in Wiltshire. Not in Wiltshire, we're in Wiltshire, in Essex, where I come from. So I don't think it's perfect, but it's not too bad. I'll have to actually look up what that one is there. Lethal as well, coming in with the gifts there. Awaken as well. It's Danny as well. Thank you for those. All the gifts, the subs, the members, the merch, all of that, the memberships, page, it all goes back into the stream there. Stream helping us improve what we do. So at the minute we're saving up to take the show on the road. Hopefully we're going to do kick off our UK UFO hotspot tour with a Rendlesham Forest. We want to do that one soon, but yeah, that's where we're going. Where do we get to with you wonderful YouTubers? Been waiting patiently as we have been reading through the TikTok chat, and now we're going to get over to you guys. We got Japan, didn't we, as well? Around here, Pierre came in. With the overlays there. Lundro as well, how are you doing there? Welcome in there. And I saw a really bright and really fast satellites last night. I was watching the meteor shower at least. Oh no, I did that one, didn't I? We've got the clouds helping the tracker. Anywhere there are air bases with nuclear weapons stored in the UK might be a good place for your base. Chris, you think you're right. They do seem to be heavily interested in anything nuclear, whether that is weapons, mining, research, weapons storage, their energy, production sites. They do seem to have a really, really high correlation of, they are interested in those sorts of things. I see the hearts coming in as well there, guys. Do appreciate the hearts, the tapping away, the likes, basically, the likes, the shares, all that stuff. It does help us reach more and more like-minded people like yourselves. And the more eyes and minds we get on the phenomena, the more we can all help piece this puzzle together. Oh, super. I was underwhelmed at the end there, and I couldn't help myself but laugh. And the train bit had me questioning things. So I'm not big into those action-y scenes. That's why I wasn't expecting to fully like it too much. I was going to see Disclosure Day to be like, well, what message? Is there anything leaked through this? We know they might be doing that sometimes. So that's kind of where I was kind of. But I quite liked it, but I totally forgot the ending. So it wasn't a good one. And interesting point, Meteors. Slow travel is 20,000 miles per hour there. Fast meteors travel at 160,000 there. No speed cameras in space yet. No wonder they burn up on re-entry. It's kind of like when we jump into the sea or into a pool. We're coming from a less dense medium, jumping into a more dense medium. It's kind of like the same for those meteors up there. They're flying through space, which is very near vacuum, and then they hit the atmosphere of the Earth. It's so thick, and all that friction from that difference of density there causes causes the heat from them. So no wonder those bloody speeds. How fast is the old ISS going? Is that like 17,000 miles an hour? So it's not far from the slowest speed there, if that is about right. 12th is of August for the eclipse. So the eclipse is coming up on the 12th, guys. So not this week, but I think it's the SpaceX booster or something is landing, is crashing onto the moon, isn't it there? 90% coverage of the sun from the moon. Oh yeah, so which is going to be very interesting to see. It's so strange. It's perfect that having that near perfect solar eclipse. That is weird. That the moon is the right size and at the right distance to allow that one. It is not common in the solar system as well. There, how are you doing, Nathan? Oh, it's oh, hello. Why did that get redacted? Weird. I didn't know I could highlight them. And just done the research of countries for UAP phenomena there, demonic activity and paranormal beliefs and activity. The only 3 countries that showed high in all 3 categories is the US, the UK and Ireland. Very interesting, because you do wonder how much culture plays a part in all of these things. Is it that we just categorize them in the West as those sorts of things, whereas they would use maybe a different category? I can imagine, like the Chinese would use I know that they're very coy on the UFO subject. There was a political, sort of a culty religious movement, I think, in the 90s in China that had UFO leanings, and the government being, tyrannical, they clamped down and they didn't want an uprising. So anything UFO related is a little bit of a sore subject. They can talk about it, but they're a bit cautious around letting that stuff out. So maybe there's different language, or they get expressed in different ways. That's very interesting, Paul. Thank you for sharing. And where are we? Down here. Too many there to think about. Half 11 at night there. How you doing, Cash? We're all good here. How big is the ISS? Bloody big. Massive. You wouldn't want it to land on you. Is it 177 foot or something like that? I don't think it was the Druids and shit then, Sam. No, I don't think even I think the Druids, that sort of area, use it, don't they? But even the modern explanation is like, really like caveman sort of period of time, the Stone Age, I think, before most things like that, I think, although you could probably trace back some of the rites and practices to those sorts of things. I mean, it's possible. I wouldn't say 100% not, but the amount of effort that's gone into something like Stonehenge for the ability of the culture that they're telling us, it's got to be more than ceremony. It has to have a little bit of an output, I think. There, Angoreng there, the third secret of Fatima. Oh, we did that one, didn't we, yesterday? And Woodhenge nearby, the famous monument is even old. Is it even older? Wow, there has a grave in the centre. Now that is interesting, yeah, because Stonehenge doesn't, does it? The missus was disappointed when she went to Woodhenge because it isn't wood, it's now concrete post. I had to explain to her that wood rots there. And is space silent, or are there sounds, and do planets produce ambient tones in the vacuum of space? If a form of matter is required for sound and we perceive sound in space, then there is no vacuum, right? So yeah, the planets would do, if there was more of a medium, they would transfer the sound. Like, we'd be deafened here on Earth if there was more of a medium for the sound, because of what's going on there. That would be so loud. But it's a very, very near vacuum. It's not quite a full vacuum, but they can talk in other ways. The language of the universe is radio. We think, don't we, oftenly that man made radio technology. No, we discovered radio and we adapted it for our purposes, but the universe's language is in radio. And again, it's a wave, kind of like sound waves, isn't it? But it's slightly different. So I think, yeah, the universe screams in radio. The ISS travels approximately 17,500 miles an hour, orbiting Earth roughly every 90 minutes. Thank you there, Lilac. That is bloody fast, isn't it? When you see them up there doing those EVAs, they're travelling at 17,500 miles an hour. So no wonder it's such a big problem if a tiny bit of space debris is also flying around that way, like a speeding bullets. And Conspiracy Fighter there, with the amount of satellites we see on screen there, it's surprising they don't crash into themselves out there. It really is, and they are very, very worried about this. They're worried about something called Kessler syndrome, and this is like a snowball effect, that one satellite hits another, creates 1,000 bits of debris. Those 1,000 bits of debris spread out like speeding bullets flying around up there, hit another handful of satellites, and so on and so on and so on. Yeah, Kessler syndrome. They're very, very worried about it. And it would block low Earth orbits. It would block space for us, basically, for between 10 to 100 years. And 356 feet end to end. Jesus, I was very wrong on that one. Well done. And smells like a gym salt. What's that one, Pancake? One good spot in that. I've not got the other thing on at the second, and we will bring it back in a bit, but it's having a bit of a calm down. And Rich there, I know I'm always banging on about the VR there, but there is an ISS space station experience where you can float around in the space station, check out all of the rooms. Now that is really cool. I need to get VR just for that. Although I get vertigo. As you were saying that, in my head, I was thinking about floating around, and I'm now really, really dizzy. I need to find a horizon. So I'll be bloody useless at it. But we want to get a VR set, plug you guys in at the same time. That'd be a cool set. second thing to do. But the first thing is that the S4 Bob Lazar story, they were going to release S4, the facility where Bob Lazar claims to have worked, because they had to build it and get a video game engine, so they were going to release that as an experience for VR that you can walk through. And I think it'd be cool to do that with you guys there. Right, where are we over on the TikTok? Let's catch up with you wonderful people. Where did we get down here? Down here. Drink something, got to that one. And Miguel from Denmark, welcome aboard for their countryside. So I got a clear night sky. Oh, very, very lucky. I didn't appreciate what I was missing until moving to the country here. Have you ever seen anything strange in those skies? Obviously, you had the other experience earlier. Have you heard any more? And level, it's 3 to 4. Okay, that could be about right. I may have mentioned it a long time ago. Ryan there, thank you for the follow. And Small Town and Monsters released a new documentary on Bigfoot, 2 hours there long. Really, really good. I'll have to check that one out. Thank you for the heads up there. Kayla, what's moving? Good question. So, we're tracking at the minute a lot of man-made objects flying around in the night sky. There's one at the bottom of the screen coming in. But yeah, basically, we're looking at these moving objects up there, and we're trying to identify the ones which could possibly be UFOs, could be anomalous, and it's very hard for us to tell for certain. The only way we can be sure is if that object stops dead, moves off at speed, changes its course or trajectory, because that's what man-made objects, space junk, all that sort of stuff, they can't behave like that. So if we see that behaviour, we know for sure it is a UFO. But if it doesn't do anything strange, if it stays green and just is a consistent straight line at a consistent speed, it does not mean that that exact one is definitely a satellite. It means it's most likely a satellite because there's just most of them up there. But until we match it, then we can't be for sure. And again, these objects were seen in the night sky well before man had stuff up there, and that is recorded. And yeah, the scientists are currently arguing over what that could be, but it is looking very, very anomalous. So that's what we're doing tonight. We've got to look out for the strange and anomalous here. So it's a bit of a hunt. But yeah, I say it doesn't necessarily mean that it is not a UFO. In fact, most of the time you think about it, ET is going to look exactly like a satellite most of the damn time. He's going to be flying in a straight line at a consistent speed. There's not much to avoid. He's up there. He's on cruise control. He's going to reflect in that sun's light back down to us in the same way that these satellites are. They're going to look the same most of the time. We're waiting for that rare occasion when he realises he left his keys at home, stops dead, and does an interstellar handbrake turn off right over the camera there. And it does happen. Over our year or so of doing this, we have seen the real slam dunk evidence a handful of times. It's really cool to see. But we get a lot more of this middle range where your gut tells you, once you've seen the satellites in all weather conditions, in all seasons, the different brightnesses, temperatures, all the variations essentially, you'll see these one-offs every now and again, and you're like, right, it's not moving anomalously, so we can't say 100% that it's strange, but you go, bloody hell, you've only seen this, why is this one unique there? So we get a lot more of those. Usually it was a good watch, catch that one as well later, I think. Live next door to Sellafield, excellent there, Chris. So, have you noticed anything in those skies? And greetings, friends. How you doing, Joseph? I'm here, therefore it must be time to have some fun. Okay, we'll start the party now. Is that Deneb in A2? I think it is, actually. I think you are right with that one. Love seeing the ISS, the brightest thing in the sky. It is. And no wonder people mistake it sometimes for... I mean, I've got caught out a few times. And lethal there, ISS travels 17,500 miles an hour. It's crazy how fast that is. When is the best time to view a Starlink? It depends on what time of the year. It is constantly changing with the seasons, the position of the sun, catching that light for longer periods of time. So I think in the UK at the minute it's in the wee hours of the morning is the best bit. And Lady there as well, it's all over the world. It's only that they don't broadcast about it. So yeah, I think different cultures handle these things in different ways. I find it really interesting that, the phenomena itself, if you take away our modern day interpretation of it, so ET, little green men from distant planets in big metal spaceships, you take away that and go, well, what are we seeing most of the time? Well, lights in the sky moving in strange ways, little people taking people away, missing time. Sounds a lot like the Fairy of the Face. Sounds like a lot of religious stuff from various cultures over the years, a lot of folklore and all that sort of thing. You take away the human interpretation, which is our best guess at understanding at the time with the structures that we have at the time, and it's really interesting. And not to say that other things aren't going on, but you can imagine, that interpretation level changes there. No coincidence, is it? Coincidence that at the beginning of when man looked to the stars, going, right, let's start sending some people up there. I wonder what planets we can visit. The beginning of the space race. That is when our modern UFO era started. Little green men in spaceships coming from distant stars. And brightest thing, moving, it really is there. Chromie, how are you doing? Good to see you in there. Dawdle, thank you for the gifts as well there. Mass appreciation. Where did we get to in the chat? Got to Dawdle in, didn't we? How are you there? Hambro, and what program or website is that? It's really cool. Thank you, Hambro. We're building it ourselves. That's why it's a bit rough around the edges at the minute. Well, we probably will make it publicly available at some point, so hang around on our Discord and you'll hear when it's available. We need to get the tracker a little bit better. That top one, look, it's got the alignment wrong there, so it's going to go red, thinking it's doing something strange. It's not, it's just got the alignment wrong. But we want to get it to recognise the stars that are in the night sky next, and then with that information, the tracked objects will be able to label, hopefully, the actual satellites, the specific satellites that are known, helping us kind of filter out a bit more and a bit more and a bit more that of what is going on up there. And Rosie, thank you for the follow. Where are you in? Drink. Thank you, Kate. And how you doing, Print Farm? Yeah, better off than he got it set up and the clouds came in and it all lined up for the moon's. Oh, man. Oh, like the video. Yeah. Honestly, I really feel that pain. I was getting this stream set up like a petulant toddler, looking out the window, going, right, it's clear, put the camera out. Massive sulk. The missus got sick of me last year. I feel it. I really do. And Irish Space Agency, how are you doing? That I would ask you where you're from, but I can guess. Have you seen anything strange in the night sky there? And Joseph, about 1993, I was driving along a motorway, the M61, back to Bolton, and I saw 15-ish oval grey objects. Interesting. In 1993 as well. That is a pretty cool sighting. Oval as well, it's quite distinct there. And Prof Roberts, thank you for the follow. Where are you in? This is KSB. No, this is not KSB, sadly. This is not Kerbal. We do play Kerbal occasionally. We haven't done it in a while, but we do play a bit of Kerbal. This is a live camera. So if you are just joining us tonight, guys, we're doing our live UFO UAP Skywatch there, coming to you live from Wiltshire here in the UK, which is right in the heart of Crop Circle country and just down the road from Stone Henge. So a long history of the strange and anomalous in these skies. So do help us spot that and call out what you see. Don't rely fully on the tracker. We're looking to find objects like this that are up there that stop dead, shoot off at speed to change their course or trajectory, and it does happen, so keep your eyes over there. Do say hello, let us know where you're watching from, and also ask away any questions. There's no silly questions here at all. We want to hear from you all, but you also make sure you're following, subscribed, whatever it is, wherever you are, because we're on pretty much every night, and with all the clear skies ahead of us with this heat wave, is going to have a lot of sky watches. But when the clouds do come in, it's an alien radio signal hunt. If you've seen the film Contact, it's like that. We're listening out on the hydrogen line, hoping to hear ET say hello, and if the moon is up and I can be bothered, it looks like that, and we see some weird things on, off and around the moon too. Chromie, have you ever seen anything suspicious or something that could be an alien? So we've seen the anomalous stuff. We've seen the things that can't be satellites, can't be shooting stars, can't be man-made. You know, we can filter out to that, and we've seen some very strange things, but I can't conclusively say it's alien. There are, you know, this anomalous, but I can't say it's alien. It could be, I mean, there are other theories to this, you know, it's not just the extraterrestrial part, is it? You know, people from other planets, although that is going to be most likely to some degree. And there is a dimensional component to this as well. There's more and more compelling argument. There's maybe something going on with the dimensions at play. Time is another one here as well. I mean, when you actually start to look into the proper science of this, you go, oh my God, it's not as easy as I thought, you know, said little green men in spaceships crashing the desert. No, there's loads to be going on. And knowing how crazy the universe is. Look at how Earth is, how diverse it is for different types of species of life. You know, there is something for everything. The universe is always rolling the dice of evolution to find the best way. So there's going to be a range of species out there. There's going to be a range of things that maybe can interact with time differently. And oh my God, your head starts to spin. But we have definitely seen things that are anomalous. But yeah, we ain't got the technology yet to confirm it. Starlink's passed over at 3:52 and at 4 AM. I think we'll be off for that when it's a work night, but thanks for the heads up. And Print Farm, you've been in for 2 months. Happy anniversary there. And Dawdle sent a treasure box, guys. Do thank Dawdle when you claim those coins. How you doing, Lee? Oh, night. Catch you later there, Lee. And where are we down there? Oreo, thank you for the follow. Where are you joining us from tonight? And over on the tubes, where did we get to, wonderful people? Where do we get to with your chat? I'm across 2 different chats tonight, so I'm bouncing from A to B, so take me a second. Got to space, that was a good one. The ISS, wasn't it there? Got to crashing and VR, wasn't it? There, it was around the VR question, wasn't it? Where's that gone? Have you seen any aliens there? How? So, we've seen anomalies. We've seen definitely things that cannot be explained by the conventional means. What they are they aliens from other planets? Are they a dimensional thing? Are they us from the future? It sounds crazy, guys, but there's some really plausible arguments for that. That is the next step, that we haven't done it there. And short folk, looking at the history of Warminster, they're saying a sighting from 64 to 77. Any thoughts on why the sighting stopped? And when was the base closed, or did the aliens finish their survey? So this is a good question. Why was it so intense for such a period of time? Looking back into like really ancient history, it does seem that this little place, this little part of Wiltshire, has had a history of these weird flaps, these weird pulses. And again, it's been interpreted as the devil and all sorts of other things at various times. So maybe it's like a cyclical thing there. My gut is telling me that when I'm looking into some of those early stories, I think there may have been some... Hello, darling. I think there's been some shenanigans afoot. I feel like they were testing something, because we're right on the edge of Salisbury Plain training area, the largest military sort of training facility in the UK, and we're literally on the edge of town, to the point that when we do our live Skywatches on location, technically we're on the training area. Last time we were up there, we were sharing it not just with cows, but the army were camped literally about 100 yards away from us. So I think that if you want to test some sort of the things that they were doing then, high energy weapons in the upper atmosphere, you know, that would have been the place to do it, over the ranges. And then if you're here, you're going to view that, but if they get it wrong, you're directly over town, aren't you? So not saying that it was all, you know, just Earth-based technology that's doing that, but maybe that triggered something, maybe that caused something going on. So that's a gut feeling for me of what could have been triggering that particular impetus. But it is a bit of a weird place. We still get quite a high degree of sightings here as well. Love the roller coaster. It is a roller coaster doing this. And actually in the previous stream, but what is the bright one in C3? So in C3, that is Vega, and no worries, because Vega is beautiful. Always need an excuse to zoom in on this one. There is Vega, a star 26-ish light years away from us here on Earth, so burning much hotter and brighter than our star. The sun won't last as long, but it is pretty cool to look at. So that light left that star and has reached us now. It took 26 years to travel here. That'll just the light alone. That's what that star looked like 26 years ago. If that blew up 6 years ago, we've still got to wait another 20 years before we would know. Relativity is a bitch. There. Oh, got to flash it in there. Amelia, good spotting. And Chris as well. Do you think that the government would announce an arrival if no independent watchers didn't see it? I don't think they would. I think they're going to be overly cautious. They've got more to lose by announcing it than not. Never, you know, bureaucracy and all of this sort of stuff, never underestimate its ability to kind of self-protect. That's its highest motivation for these things. A moving flash or a still flash? Oh, that is all the difference there. Low orbit, how are you doing? Good to see. Oh, and Amelia, those ones didn't come through. It says redacted for some reason there. Good, keep up the good spot in there, ads. And where are we down here? Andy, evening, how are you there? And hi, Nerd there. Are you the Yorkshire-based dude? So I'm not Yorkshire, I'm down here in Wiltshire. Right in the heart of crop circle country. Oh, no, you're talking to literally the guy called Nerd there as well. Sorry about that. Where are we down here? What's your views on the moon being some sort of soul catcher? I've heard this one. So it's one that I'm not going to write off, but I've not heard a lot around it. So for me, I think to go down that route, I need to establish for myself at least, or at least if we could, what the soul is. We talk about it throughout history, various different cultures, but it's all a slightly different description, you know, but we haven't got a conclusive definition of a soul. Like we don't have the consciousness as well. That's another thing that, you know, we have functional understandings, but we don't have a real specific. It's not like the liver, you know, or something like that we can really define. So I think once we get that in place, then we can go from there. I find it really interesting, but not enough information yet there. And what do people think of the phenomena of the rods? And what do you think they are? Ed, remind us on this one. Is it rods of God? It's ringing a bell for something. I think they're already amongst us, maybe your name, but that is the other part of it. Maybe that is the case. There's lots of talk about our genetics and our DNA and all of this sort of thing, this way and the other. One thing, again, is the lack of evidence that we have. We can't really collapse anything down into definites unless you've had that first-hand experience yourself. You know, it's hard to collapse anything. It's all just like what is more likely, what is plausible, what is probable, and all of that sort of stuff. That's going to be the best that I can do anyway from this green room. But the idea that, you know, a civilization might, you know, be fleeing their planet, and the best way for them is not to bring a ship full of aliens here to take over and to dominate the world. The best way for them to do it, because again, we would have a different atmosphere, we'd have a different gravity. The chances of this environment being suitable for them are going to be low. But to merge their DNA with ours, their species could then continue, but be adapted for this world as well. Now, I just noticed on the old tubes, guys, we're nearly at 200 concurrent viewers. We've never hit 200 before. before, so if you want to hit those likes, we'd appreciate that one. See if we can break a record for ourselves tonight there. Hit that like at the top of the page. So I find it plausible. Sam, get your words right. And what are your thoughts on the message we received in the 70s based on bits? So the wow signal is insanely good. It's called the wow signal for a reason. It's this message, guys, if you've not heard of it, that a radio telescope picks up. The Ohio State University, the Big Ear telescope, out in the US, it picks up this signal looking exactly like a technological radio signal there, and it looked to be coming not from this earth. So exactly what we'd expect an alien radio signal to look like, exactly where we would expect to find it. And the problem is, it's not been debunked, but for science to say definitely that yes, that is an alien signal coming from a distant star, you need to get a second dish on the other side of the Earth to detect it at the same time. So in that way, it'll confirm that it's not a fault with the dish, and that it's not something in front of the dish, like a passing satellite or something like that you're picking up, because you might be pointing at the star, but maybe something's gone in front that you can't see, that's given us that signal. So science needs that second confirmation from a different point to converge, and therefore tell us that it is something a lot stranger, that it is coming from those distant stars. But the way that SETI works at the minute, when like the Big Ear, that was discovered after the fact. It was the next morning, the guy comes in, looks at the printed out bits of paper and went, oh shit, that's a good signal, writes wow on it, hence the name. But some of these SETI hunts, they take 20 years before they then go and put another telescope on it. And it's like, well, if my doorbell rang and I waited 2 weeks to answer it, of course the Amazon man is not going to be there anymore, is he? It's so I think that's why they have. I think it's the limitation of our technology. Whoa, we broke the 200 for the first time. Record, guys. Thank you, tubers. Appreciate that. Can we get it to 250? Can we take the piss? Guys, if you're new here, do say hello. Let us know where you're watching from tonight there. To get to you in a minute. I'm working away from the YouTube chat, and then I'll be over on the TikTok. But yeah, do say hello. Ask away any questions. Maybe it's what we're doing, how we're doing, and why we're doing it there. But yeah, do let us know if you also had an experience with the phenomena. We'd love to hear about that one too. But we're looking for UFOs in the night sky here. We're currently live from Wiltshire in the UK, right in the heart of crop circle country, and just down the road from Stone Henge. So lots of strange things in these skies over the years. Tonight should be no exception. We've got our tracker on. Don't rely on it fully. It's just a guide, but we need to see these objects like this one. Let's zoom in. We need to see this. Oh, it's lost its tracking. We need to see this sort of thing. Stop dead, shoot off at speed, change its course or trajectory, because that will tell us for sure that it is something a little bit stranger up there in the night sky indeed. Make sure you're following, subscribe, whatever it is, wherever you are, because we're on pretty much every night. And we hope to get those notifications when we go live. But yeah, the wow signal was fantastic for that. But yeah, we're not doing our best to do it. The reason we haven't confirmed life is because of the limitations of our technology. When scientists say there's no evidence for alien life, it's a bit disingenuous. What they're actually saying is we do not have a single bit of evidence that is conclusive in of its own. But actually, there are hundreds of these anomalous signals that get detected all of the time. We can't get that confirmation. We're also getting the ability now that we can check the atmospheres just about of the planets orbiting these distant stars that we're looking at tonight. And we're pushing the limits of our technology. So the quality that we're getting, it can't be 100%, but those early indicators are looking like that there are gases in those atmospheres that, as far as we know, can only be made by life. So yeah, we're just on the cusp, but we're held back slightly by our technology. But I don't think it's going to be long. I don't think at all. The 3-hour radio signal hunt, that is on your channel. Is this your own personal equipment, or is there a site I can go to listen live? So, Pan, it is our own personal equipment, but you can go there to listen live. So we've got it running 24/7. I think it's running at the minute. Yes, it is running. So we have it running all the time. You can press a button, switch over it. But if you're, we've got a website, thethingufo.live, and you have to register. So at the top right, this might be the trick of it. Lethal. It catches everybody out. So the login system is actually a pain on this. So when you go to the top right to click the members area, oh wait, no, it wouldn't do, because you got the error, didn't you? So, but basically, when you click top right to members area, you go in there and you at the bottom of that box, there's a sign up box. You have to actually sign up on the site, and then you put in your email that you're using on our Patreon as well, so the site matches you up, knows you're not a bot, so you have the two places, and then that lets you into our website there. You can use the free Patreon as well. You don't have to actually pay, just to make sure you know you're not a bot, but our website looks like this. So obviously it's got our normal stream details, the merch, all of that sort of stuff there, next deep dives, movie clubs. When it scrolls through, it shows you all the stuff you can get. So obviously our SETI computer on there, and that'll come up in a second, so you can log them as well, and it recognises which users logging certain signals, and it's always running running, but you get this as well, which is the sensor dashboard. Now, this is like the Schumann resonance, geomagnetic index, oh god, all sorts of solar weather, solar flares, moon phases, everything that's relevant to our hunt is there. You can select which ones you want, to untick the ones you don't want, pop it out as well, so you're not having to look at the whole page all the time. So you get access to that too. And then in a second, it'll show you this is the SETI stream. There we go. That's the one. So that's running all the time there. You can access it. And we've also got our UFO dog whistle on there. So if you have speakers that produce the frequency ranges that you need, there's a guide on there. You can log in and, you know, use the app and put the sound into those speakers in all the frequencies and tones that can apparently some of the UFOs and stuff there. Sure, Stone Henge crop circle is interesting there. Reading the Julius set appeared in 45 minutes, and that is a weird time, quoted correct. I think so. The time around the crop circles is the thing that really blows my mind there. Where are the half-done ones? Where are the interrupted ones? How can they get that complex thing done so precisely in such a short amount of time? And also, like the sort of the messages that they're saying. Oh, look at that tracking. That's had a bit of a sulk there. Yeah, so I think there's a lot of interesting things around that. In spiritual circles, the moon is an ancient spacecraft. I'm definitely open to that idea. I thought moon conspiracy stuff, guys, was full-on tinfoil hat, like blown, full-on crazy. But no. And this is the nature of the phenomenon. The more you look, the more evidence is for all of this stuff. It is weird. It is really, really weird. There's so many coincidences about it. We normally save it for our moon stream, but the moon is weird. Low orbit as well there, and given we are carbon based there, we're all born out of stars, so technically we are aliens. Well, low orbit, bang on. I often want to buy one of those little meteorites, the Mayan meteorites, so I can hold it in my hand. God, this thing has flown through space. But we are made of stardust. You know, everything around us has. It's more special than anything else around here. But yeah, it is, we may well be the literal aliens as well. Like, it is looking like life did not start here on Earth. At the very least, it probably came from Mars. You know, the scientists recently did the maths on, you know, evolution as we understand it, and it's not even life from zero. It was from single-celled life to more complex life and to where we are now. They calculated the steps, how long it oh my god, my brain's so goes. How long that would have taken, and we haven't had enough time here on Earth. We're about 2 billion years short. But you know what? Mars was habitable for 2 billion years before the Earth. How are you doing, Helen? Good to see you in there. And spirituality, we have to trust our gut feelings. The gut is a really, really useful guide. For these things. We have 15,000 likes on the TikTok, and you have 14. What? You're slacking tubers on that front. 15,000 on those ones. And adds there, in cryptozoology and ufology, the rods, also known as skyfish, they're air rods and solar entities, are elongated visual artifacts appearing in photographic images and video recordings. Oh, you know what? I'm not familiar with those. My immediate gut goes to long exposure, you know, like a single object drawing a line over the period, but I imagine they would have checked for that. I'll have to look into those ones. So guys, do say hello if you're just joining us. It will take me a minute to get to your messages, but say hello, let us know where you're watching from tonight, and ask away any questions you might have. We're doing our live UFO UAP Skywatch right from the heart of crop circle country here in the UK, just down the road from Stone Henge. Rich as well, I had a video on the rods, and it was amazing until someone filmed flies and bees, etc., and they looked the same as they were stretched out over them. The frames though. So yeah, it could be that then. It could be that. Just found out I can say it as long as you don't. I'll have to get you blocked there, Kate. You're lowering the tone. Where did we get to? We're around here somewhere. Get your likes in, but thank you, Pancake. Appreciate that, guys. It is the likes and shares, the tapping away, all of that stuff there that helps us reach all of you guys in the first place. And the more eyes and minds on the phenomenon, the more we all get to piece this puzzle together. We're all at different levels of discovery. We really, really are. There's something called the zone of proximal development, which is that, you know, it's wherever you are, what your next lesson is, and then what the lesson is before you. And I always say this to people, you know, my day job is, you know, podcasts and production like that, is that, you know, there is always an audience for what you are. You know, a lot of people come and go, do I know enough? Am I an expert in the field? But there is a zone of proximal development. There are people around you that are just before where you are, maybe just after, that you're in that interest range there as well. And the real key is, like, you know, can you bridge those positions across there? But there is always people around there. You know, you've always got the next thing that somebody else needs to know. Is that football, Raf, or is that a literal one? And the question has to be asked, say aliens actually make contact, and then what? So, Grandmaster, that's a very good point. And a few people have come in here before and said, like, I mean, not in the overall question like you're answering there, but specifically to us, go, right, if, if you do get, your alien radio signal come through, what would you do? And you go, I hadn't thought that far ahead. I was just wanting to do it. I want to get the hunt of it there. But it's a good question. What is next? Should we even respond is a big question. If it's the distant ones, if they're communicating at a distance rather than landing and they know we're here, should we even respond? There's a good chance it's a mistake to make ourselves know. Exactly. And old Stephen Hawking's actually thought this too, which is really interesting. So he said, talking about METI. So when we're doing our alien radio signal hunt, which is this, well, you can hear the static there. That's what it looks like, guys. Basically, when we're doing that, we're listing out their SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence through the medium of radio. But there's a group called METI, which is the messaging of extraterrestrial intelligence, sending the messages out there. We've done it once as a species. Back in the early 1970s, we sent a message, a very short one. Hey, we're humans, we're on the third planet from a star, we're carbon-based life forms, blah, blah, blah. We sent that out there. But should we be doing it more often? Should we be going, hi guys, is anybody else out there? Come say hi, whatever it is. But old Stephen Hawking said, probably best lads, you don't do that because we don't know what's out there. We don't know the dangers it poses. Now, this is incredibly interesting because as a scientist, he would have said, if he did not believe that life was possible, that life could visit us, or that it was even probable, he would have said, do what you want, doesn't matter, because that's how scientists work. But he didn't. He said, probably best we don't if we don't know. What does that tell you there? I find that one incredibly interesting. It's a plausible theory. And then we shit ourselves depending on... Oh, you took me your football there. And, thank you for the awesome question there, Pan. And hello from the New Forest. Els! New Forest. I do love the New Forest. Absolutely stunning place. You apparently had a crash there, because it was in the 80s or the early 90s. There was a crash apparently in the New Forest. Anything you've heard about there? I mean, New Forest has got lots of folklore legends as well. Interesting its own right there. And it's quite the hope. I mean, it wouldn't affect our day-to-day life. It's just that people seem to expect far too much. Well, this is the thing. When people say, the announcement, disclosure, and how would it affect us, there is a spectrum there. If it is 20,000 light years away, we've caught somebody's radio signal, so we know that there's technological life there. That's very different from the next star system over has life. That's a little bit closer to home there. And it's very different from, look, Alan's arrived and he's the ambassador from his country, to Alan and all his friends are here and they say they're friendly, but there's a lot of them and they're more technologically advanced. The more it affects somebody's in day-to-day life, then that is to the degree of friction that there will happen from it. So it's a rolling question there. And Felicia there as well, from Alabama. Good to have you in. I don't know if we've had anybody in from Alabama before. How are your skies? Have you seen anything strange there? Okay, I'm one step ahead with the water, thank you. And we would not stand a chance if ETs are greatly more advanced than us. We'd be on a scale of using bows against lightning. That is very, very true. In fact, we probably, if we're close to them in technology, and by close I mean if we can understand what their technology is, if we can wrap our head around it, that's the danger zone. That's like when we get in contact with various, tribes that, the old world versus the new world in the Americas. Close, still massive technical difference there, hence why it was a knockout fight. But it's that closest in range, that's when they cause a threat. If we were so far behind that, we're like the modern world equivalent to the uncontacted tribes out there in those Pacific Islands, doesn't matter. We're not trying to force it upon them. We're far in advance. So if they're so far ahead from us, then actually we're probably all right. They probably wouldn't care. Oh yes, guys, so remember, if you do want to submit some pics, we're going to do some community posts there. Maybe it's your images that you've caught, or even just beautiful shots of the night sky, your astrophotography and things like that. On the Discord general, Kate set up a post there. Add them to that and we're going to do some community posts there. And examples of what could change. And prove we're not alone in technology, a leap, and seeing ourselves through alien eyes would erase earthly divisions and leadership, credibility for humans' interests. So this is the thing that Reagan had right, the idea that if there was a threat from outer space, immediately we would be like, shit, right, let's get our act together. And that is incredibly true, as long as there is a threat. Because all of a sudden, we have one thing in common that is more important than all of our differences on the smaller scale. Your psychology works like this. It's constantly weighing up different threat levels and things like that. And this, like you see people at communal events, all of a sudden people come together no matter their differences or the potential risk, because there's an overall goal, an overall identity. And the same would be the same if there was an external threat for that one. Any recorded anomalies in the past? Ice Wolf, yeah, not on the radio. The radio's, you know, a much harder one to do, but it's more like the lottery if you win it. But for doing this, the skies are very, very fruitful for the highly strange for us. We have had some fantastic sightings in the past. We had a couple recently as well there. And Geo there, Hawking said that at the time we had a less understanding of interstellar travel. We now know it's all but impossible, unfortunately. Well, not necessarily, though, Geo. In fact, I would argue the opposite. You know, interstellar travel is scientifically more than possible, but we don't have the energy. The barrier to us is energy. So it's, you know, we know how to build a warp drive. You know, it doesn't break physics. We know the maths on that, but we don't have the energy anywhere near. So that's the barrier. You know, so it might be impossible for us in that sense, you know, because we just can't power it. But what's really interesting is some other scientists did the maths on the warp drive recently. So again, it's Michael Cubier, I think it's a Brazilian scientist back in the 90s, did the warp drive calculations. And yep, it's totally legit. We know how to do that. But some recent scientists kind of did the specifics. Right, what would that look like? If somebody's using a warp drive, how would that work? And what would it look like to us? And they mapped the visual distortions from the gravitational lensing and all of the light shifting, the red and blue shifting of the light, and so this is probably what it would look like if that happened. They overlaid this little grid of distortion on classic UFO images and videos and some newer ones as well, and it actually kind of looks like that's what's going on. So maybe that's how their craft work, but God knows where they get the energy from. And so your screens explains it to a new viewer there, and I see the words Manchester, UK, and the red dot nowhere near Manchester. So it's Warminster, Angry, almost, or it's Warminstr. It looks kind of like Manchester, but yeah, so we're down in the southwest, which is Wiltshire, right down the road from Stone Henge, so right in the heart of crop circle country. And the only things you see, satellites, planes, Starlink, the ISS, meteors and stars and planets. Do you say they're birds, rain, snow, and the odd leaf blowing? So no, not necessarily, Angus. We see a lot of shooting stars. We see a lot of satellites, like a hell of a lot. The majority of what we see is man-made satellites up there, of course. We see shooting stars as well. We do see birds, but birds, planes, drones, when we're zoomed in like this, they're quite obvious identified. We can also do this as well. So when it loads, there we go. This is our little flight radar. Shows you if there's any local air traffic in the area, so we can confirm sightings like that. But what we're looking out for is we're looking for these objects that are traveling to stop dead, shoot off at speed, change their course or trajectory, because those altitudes, when they're up there actually, you know, are orbiting the Earth, we don't have technology that can do that. There's no natural technology that can, like, you know, there's no weather patterns that can behave like that either. And it's not even like, oh, it's in the super secret military area. Now this is like, it's not like the next level or the next two levels. This is different physics to move like that, because those objects are falling to Earth in big circles. It takes a hell of a lot of energy to dart about and see some of those performance changes. Now it's quite rare. Again, what we're going to see are man-made satellites out there, and hope that's what you want to be the case as well. You don't want the aliens to be invading, do you? But yeah, we do see those anomalies occasionally. I think we've seen it a handful of times, actually, when we've been on the stream. And if the theory stands that we were genetically created by an alien race, they already know what we're capable of. So to be a threat to them, I think if they're so much more advanced, then yeah, that is probably going to be the case. And the Bladinator there, aim high and vote low. I've heard that one. But no politics in the chat. We have people from every which way, and everybody's welcome. And we do get the lightning ones. Oh, we did get the lightning ones, didn't we, Kate? Everybody's going, look, there's that lightning. It's miles away from you. You don't need to. And literally the last shot on the camera was me outside with that lightning bolt basically next door. And if we do get invaded by aliens, I hope that they are the Mars Attacks aliens, as it would be hilariously terrifying. At least we can laugh, couldn't we, at the same time there? The Roswell crash there, 47, gets all the hype. Yet, in 41, a crash in Cape Girardeau, the Missouri. Got the pronunciation wrong. They had 3 aliens, with one being alive for a few days. Why doesn't this get talked about as much as Roswell? So the name rings a bell, but the date didn't actually. I'm gonna have to look a bit more into that one. But there's lots of things like that. It's not necessarily the type of event. Like we think, like the bigger, more obvious event, that's going to get the media, that's going to get attention. But there's so much that happens as well that it's just the fate of things. You know, was there something else in the news? Was the reporter that heard it first not as interested in these things? You know, all sorts of bias. You know, and doing this stream, the one thing it's told me is that the amount of experiences that you guys have, and to the range of them, and they don't make the news. You never get to hear about them. That's not how the media works in our country anyway. It's not, it bubbles up and for there's plenty of reasons, sadly, why they don't. But that sounds like an interesting one. I'll have to look at that one. Exactly there. And I prefer the War of the Worlds aliens there, and I find it's hard to get up in the morning. A little bit of motivation, we can relate to it, and it's totally fine to be skeptical. That is totally cool as well. Sometimes you can just enjoy the night sky. I forgot the drones. Where are we? And death, it's scientifically possible, but we wait required to protect the vessel. The weight required to protect the vessel from radiation would add to the already ridiculous energy requirements to reach realistic speeds, adding to the infinite mass. So this is very, very interesting. You're right. The radiation is a big factor, but it's also a big factor for our conventional travel. We're going to Mars and things like that. But the one thing that we're learning now is actually that biological life is far more resilient than we thought, and we're not at the point where it's definitely able to do that. But it was the point where nothing can survive in space. But the more they're testing, the more and more more and more complex life. I think they're up to fruit flies at the minute, which is quite a complex life form that survives far longer in sort of to the harshness of space than we thought. So there's probably a lot more wiggle room in certain ways. But I mean, if you're I think if you can get the infinite energy thing, you could probably figure out, maybe there'll be material science that could further along the way to get that one. But there definitely are the barriers. You still have that clip, and I'd love to be true, but my many years as an engineer has me a less than hopeful. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's totally fair to be, and it's not. I wouldn't want to convince anybody otherwise. This is we're just rolling the dice and seeing what we see, and we do see some very, very strange things indeed. I've got a friend who's an aerospace engineer actually as well, and he's very much of the same ilk as that. And the interesting thing is that ultimately there isn't probably a lot of difference on our opinions when it comes to the phenomena. Actually, there's a few little things in there, but I find it comes down to a lot. I mean, you do get people that are just, so deeply into the subject and so deeply dogmatically against it as well. You get the extremes, but actually a lot of us are kind of in this middle, very similar ground. And the only difference really is that some of us go, but the possibility is worth the search, and other people, it seems to be like, well, I've not seen enough evidence to make me warrant doing the search. So it's just in that realm of opinion at the minute. I find it really, really fascinating. And good evening there, Roscoe. How are you there? Well, we're all good here. 5th of August, 7:30 from UK. The stray rocket is due to hit the moon. Would need the telescope. Oh, God. There'll be a live stream on it, though. There'll be a live stream. And we think we are so clever with what we are building with technology until we are shown the truth. And like the famous phrase says, the truth is out there. And will we want to really know? Oh, the last part of that is, yeah, very true. And we do this as humans. We go, right, we figured it all out. Maybe there's a few other bits there as well. That was a weird track, wasn't it? But yeah, no, the reality is the likelihood that we have got even 1% understanding of what objective reality is, if there is an objective reality, science doesn't really lock that one in yet as well. I think it's very, very unlikely. I want the pool alien, yeah. I mean, that's what it's like living with Alan here. Laura, that's there, coming in with the gifts. Thank you for that one. Have we got any more? I've missed their phrase as well. DJ, Kate as well, coming in with the shares, feeding Alan.
Nom nom nom, thanks, guys.
Mimicry is the easiest way to stay undetected. That's a good point. And let's just hope First Contact will be like depicted in the film Close Encounters of the First Contact. Nice and civilized ads, hopefully. And there, we always look up for aliens there, not realizing we are them. And this planet has every living thing we know of that has been approved there. And some people can't accept it that we're alone. So this is the thing. So you're looking to the conclusion and you're looking at certain things and drawing a conclusion from that. But it's not fact. There's no evidence that we are alone. It'd be very difficult to falsify, to be fair. But there are lots of individual pieces of evidence that point to the galaxy being alive. It's very disingenuous when the scientists say there's no evidence for alien life. There are loads of potentially alien radio signals out there that are anomalous, exactly what we'd expect to see for an alien radio signal, but we don't have the technology to confirm it. Same with those biosignatures that are now starting to be detected in the atmospheres of those distant planets. Again, the technology isn't there to say 100%, but there's lots out there going, actually, it's looking like the universe is alive, but why do we think that we would know? We always think we have the technology and therefore we don't have a good grasp of what's entering our atmosphere. We do not see everything that enters next to our atmosphere. There's lots of things that get missed. We do not see a good close picture of our solar system. There's always comets going past when NASA's going, shit, that was a close one, and stuff like that. So there's lots of room for play. I just don't think that we would see it. I don't think we should assume that we would know it all. Just hope Will Smith isn't the first person they meet. Imagine if there's a friendly one, the Welcome to Earth. And who would you nominate for First Contact? I don't know, not Alan. And it's a great take you have there. It's incredibly sceptical of visitation. But if someone is confident and hopeful, as with things like religion, there, it's not my place to tell them they're wrong. But that's the thing, exactly. I mean, both ways as well. Same with going back to the skepticism as well. That's a totally fine way of believing, isn't it? I just don't think we have the information to collapse it down to any definites. And I think the indicators that are around there, like the contextual evidence there, the circumstantial evidence, and all that sort of stuff, I think it's worth an exploration. You know, that's where I feel with it. You know, I think it's an interesting subject, and Nibiru is on its way. It may well be. Mr. Blobby, that would. Imagine if they thought that Mr. Blobby, that was humans, like that's perfect. And Scooby, how are you doing there? Close Encounter of the Third Kind was a depiction of a real event there. It didn't happen at the Devil's Tower. You do hear this with the films, that maybe they seed a bit of reality into the public through the medium of film. And you go, well, why would they do that if they were trying to keep it a secret? Well, if disclosure ever had to happen, they call it catastrophic disclosure. If the White House, the UFOs appeared over the White House, and everyone goes, oh shit, aliens are real, then it's incredibly jarring for the public if they've got no frame of reference about it all. Whereas if that happens, or if they know it's going to happen, they're like, lads, actually, look, guys, aliens are real, and they can literally just go, right, it's ET, or it's Sigourney Weaver aliens, facehugger aliens. You know, we immediately have a frame of reference to attach and to understand what's going on to it. So there is a reason to kind of build up society like that one, give it a little bit of a foundation. Right, where am I on here? Let's go back over to the TikTok. You guys have been patiently awaiting for a while. If you are just joining us, guys, we're doing our live UFO, a UAP Skywatch night, coming to you live from Wiltshire here in the UK, right in the heart of Crop Circle country, and just down the road from Stone Henge. So a lot of history of the weird and wonderful in these night skies. Do say hello. Let us know where you're watching from, and we want to hear you. Hear from you all there. Where do we get to in the TikTok? Somewhere around here. We got to Doodle, didn't we? And Rosie, thank you for the follow. Where are you joining us from tonight? And a drink, thank you, Kate, there. And no, we did this one, didn't we? Got the Irish space. We got to pressure all that. You just had, oh yeah, Roswell's anniversary, yeah. And River in Scotland. Oh, Scotland is very active for the phenomena. Oh, it looks like my chat's working now. My integrated chat is eventually working like it's meant to. So now, if you drop the coordinates in, guys, to the chat, if you do spot anything, it will trigger the interactive grid. But when you're doing that, try and predict the box it's going to be in, because there's a bit of delay. So by the time it gets through there, where did we get to? Because we're in here in the chat. I just need to catch up quickly here, didn't we? And around here, Doodle, 15. No, did that one? We did Oreo. 37 passing over in 30-minute period. Now that would be cool to catch for the old Starlink there. So Americans have claimed they've seen alien spaceships. They do, but not just the Americans. The Americans get the attention, but actually it's everywhere. But for a very long time as well. Like going back throughout history, we've interpreted it, I think, as different things. But I think it's been with us for a long time there. And No Name has given us a follow on the TikTok there, and Phil as well, where are you joining us from? And is that Milto there, 13? Welcome aboard there. We are this is real. This is a real sky camera with all the tracking going on there live from the heart of Crop Circle country, just down the road from Stone Henge. And Laura Lass there feeding Alan there. Thank you for that one. Trying to catch up in my chat. Sorry guys. We're around here. Abby there, thank you for the shares, appreciate that. It's how we reach you all. The more eyes and minds on the old phenomena, the more we all get to piece this puzzle together. You never know who's going to come in and what they're going to share with us there. Phrase, how have you been? It is good to see you there. And Sun Guy, thank you for the follow, good to have you in. Phil, I have a video and pictures of UFOs coming out of the Gulf here. Anna Mariana, South Florida on your TikTok. Oh, Phil, tag us in it at some point so we can see that. I'd love to see those. Thank you for sharing it. Guys, if you do want to share your experience with the phenomena, we'd love to hear them. But also, link in the bio for our Discord. We've got a personal experiences section there where you guys are sharing your first-hand accounts. They don't disappear after the stream, then the whole community can catch them there. Alan, tell everyone to join the Discord.
Remember to join our Discord. Link in our TikTok bio.
Thank you, Alan. Live Fishing as well, thank you for the follow there. And DJ, just press the members tab and there's nothing at the bottom, so that one, it has logged you in, but there is an error on the thing. Thank you, Felipe, for trying that one. In fact, let me try and do that one now for you. Right, where is my thing? Let's have a look over here. Where is it? Where is that one? That's the one I want to look for. Sorry, guys. It might not have synced in time. Sometimes it takes a while to sync across. Where are we? Down here as well. Sorry, guys, trying to know where I was in the chat. Aha, right. So, it's now got you. That should work for you now there, Lethal. It should. Trying to where we are in the chat. Sorry, guys. And Sarah there, hey, from Glasgow, just back from Bonnybridge Skywatch. Oh, brilliant, Sarah. Have you seen some strange things there? Bonnybridge is on our tour, so we want to do a UFO UK hotspot tour. We want to kick off with Rendlesham Forest, but Bonnybridge and the Falkirk Triangle is very much on our tour. You'll have to let us know a good spot for it there. And Bobby Crane, thank you for the follow. And Graham as well, Grammy as well. Good to have you in there. Is it Industry? Grammy Industry, yeah, something like that. Thank you for the follow. You've never been first to lower the tone. Yeah, of course you have, Kate. But we ain't in movie club, exactly. And Kath, thank you for the follow. Good to have you in there. Carl, loving the stickers. And Heidi there, anti-gravity. So this is their way. We're looking quite publicly in the 50s into anti-gravity technology, and science were talking about it like it was going to be the next big thing, and it's just about to happen. And it just went silent. It didn't fade out, didn't get disproven. It just went silent. So a lot of people think they come across something, and then they gave the scientists string theory as a sort of you can occupy with that, you know, the sexy maths there. You'll love that, scientists. And look at the video I just posted there. Hit an orb of light with a laser and caught the video. Oh, Elmo. So I can't whilst I'm on the stream. I'm not actually on the TikTok app. I'm streaming through something else there. But if I'm tagged in it, I'll be able to check it after. Mick as well coming in with the shares. Appreciate that, guys. And Heidi there. The UFO and the revolution won't be on the mainstream media. It will take a long time, won't it, until it gets there. But they're starting to. They're starting to have that conversation a little bit now. It's not great, but it's getting there. Jake as well for the follow there. And Keanu Reeves. That could be a great shout for the ambassador there, actually. Yes. If you found an alien and it looks scared and vulnerable, would you take it home? Yes. I don't think I could say no. As long as it wasn't a teethy alien, then I'd be a bit worried there. Iron Bot there. M to the C, good to see you there. And River Glen, you're in Scotland as well. Have you ever seen anything strange? Danny there, coming in with the follows. Where are you joining us from? Thank you, River. That's very kind of you there. But honestly, I can't take any credit. It's the night sky and nature putting on the show, and you guys coming in with the good questions there. All right, Patterson there, Northeast Ohio. Ancient builds here that they don't want you to know about. So we had a chap in, lived right next door to Wright Patterson, but that is where apparently they brought the craft and the bodies just after Roswell. A long history of that sort of weird stuff there. We have, Alan. Yes, that is true. A lot, LA. I think it might be our first there, Gina, in from LA. Good to have you in. Have you ever seen anything strange in the skies? And Heidi as well, thank you for the follow. Right, I should be up to date on my little chat here. Let's have a look. Where did we get to? There. And Geo there with the famous Falkirk Triangle, the meeting point between 3 airports, and a lot of drunk Scottish people there. No wonder it's the UFO capital. You do have to actually consider those things. Like this is the legitimate point. If we want to be serious, if we want to make sure the evidence that we get and we get excited about is actually real, you do have to consider these contextual things. You know, if there's a spate of sightings, was it just after a movie with aliens that come out and publicise things? We have to consider all of these things. Doesn't necessarily write it off. Sometimes these things just mean more people start to look up, and no wonder then they see something legitimate. But we do have to consider all of the variables. And anyway, along ley lines is Ace of Aces there. Yes, they know not about energy than us. So the ley lines are interesting. I don't know a lot around them, but funnily enough, this little town is a convergence apparently of like some big ley lines. It's a bit of a weird place, but it has got a history of weird, of the strange and anomalous. So no wonder. West Wales in Welsh, good to have you in there. Wales very active too. Watching from Glasgow there, is it Mastag? Good to have you in there. And claims on recorded video seems to show shape-shifting moments with the Secret Service security personnel. So you never know in this day and age as well. I don't know where I feel about the... I don't feel like I've got enough at the minute when it comes to, like, you know, the they're amongst us. Oh, that's a nice bright blue minty fresh one. Do you remember that? Activated. I find it interesting, yeah, but I don't know a lot about those sorts of ones at the minute. Where's my cursor? There it is. Zoom out so we can actually try and see that one. Sorry, guys. It got stuck. It's interesting, though. And easy there. Hello, new sub from Miami. Good to have you in. Again, have you... the Miami Mole incident. Did you hear about that? What are your feelings? What's the word on the street about what happened there at the Miami Mole? And Spencer there from Liverpool, allegedly during a private screening, a review ET of the White House, President Ronald Reagan is supposedly to have said, only those of us in this room know how accurate this is. I've heard that one as well, and I've heard it from, was it Spielberg as well that said that? I think he said it on recording. So you know, there are these little crews there. There are more and more credible, more and more serious people coming out now that have worked in governments, that have worked, you know, in the armed forces, not just, you know, grunts on the ground, but generals who are higher than that sometimes. Well, they're coming out with this direct evidence now. It's absolutely fascinating. Falkirk Triangle is a very big hotspot in Scotland. Apparently, so it's on our list. We've got quite a few places. We've got 13 locations on our tour, but that's where all the money goes. We're saving up to get the show on the road to do all of those there. Ovni Moon, what's that one, Tontu? I don't know what that one is, sadly. And Ace there, we have been on side release since the early 1900s with film. The Comedy Paul does a very good job of putting this into perspective. Yeah, I would agree with that one. Yeah. So you got into the menu, but it still says you need to activate the patrons. That shouldn't be doing that, bollocks. Let me have a look. Let me see if we can fix that one for you now, Paul, because that should. Well, it's definitely to view it. I don't know why. Right, give it a second. See if I can troubleshoot that one for you there. But when I bring it up, you should be on the Starship now there. And great to catch the stream tonight. I'll try and back tomorrow. Oh, Bradsky, thank you as always for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you there. And thank you for the heart there. It's very, very kind of you. And Heidi as well there. Appreciate the gifts. I said it all goes back into streams. So currently saving up to take the show on the road to older Rendlesham Forest there. And busy looking down at her phones to be looking up there. And it's sad, really. I wonder why they think of the content of our internet there. We would have terabytes dedicated to animals being stupid. I do wonder what they would think of that. But you're right, we do look down. I did until moving into the country when it was just so strikingly in my face that I couldn't kind of ignore it anymore. But what's really interesting is that... weird. Sorry, guys. But what's really interesting is that they do say that post-industrial revolution, that we're... I'm going to move the camera around if it's working. Hold on to your hats. Oh, it is tonight. Send the tracker off. There we go. I didn't even set the bloody tracker off. Maybe the tracker's not sensitive enough. Since the industrial revolution, with the old light pollution and the smog and things like that, we're just so detached from our place in the universe now. And Colin, seen it not tonight actually. I don't think I've had any interesting ones there. And Ads, my sister-in-law lives in Livingston, Scotland, not too far from Falkirk, and once saw a grey sphere hovering over the back garden hedge, which shot off at high speed one evening. There are just so many people, and I think that's why we're starting to get the disclosure now, is because that we can just talk and we can share these things now so much easier than we could before. Like the mainstream, there's nothing to see here argument just doesn't hold up anymore. So they're just kind of releasing a little bit and a little bit every time just to try and kind of shore up their narrative. But I think they're going to I think they are getting to the point. It's like sand or water flowing through their fingers now. So it's just going to come out to some various degree. The mole was a super odd there. I watched many clips on YouTube there. Very odd there. And why are so many police there if it didn't happen? Exactly. There's a lot of those indicators. We can't say conclusively, can we? Is there like I don't know, I mean, Miami's a massive place, so it's not like you get to hear from everybody there, but is there like a general consensus among people that you've spoken to in the area? They feel it could be true? And what do you think about several ancient cultures recording traditions of a time before the moon existed, most notably the Arcadians of Greece and the Zulu nation? So I think these things are clues. Like I don't know if we can say it's 100%, but I wouldn't let the mainstream just write it off as folklore, as just mythic tales that have got nothing to it. There are some tribes and culture out there that talk about being visited by a race of beings from what turns out to be Sirius, the star system that we have, that we know in the night sky. In the past, this was well before man had, recorded through anthropology the last couple of hundred years, and they said that they're from this star system. It turns out to be Sirius. But it's a binary star system. There's two stars there, although to the human eye you can only see one, because one's normally smaller there, so it looks like one. But they said no, it's two, and that star is in like a 56-year orbit, something like that. Anyway, this was recorded before we had the telescope power to have a look properly. But when we did in the 80s have a look, it was a binary star system, and it was on that orbit. How the fuck did they know that sort of stuff there? And Ace, don't worry about the typos. Man, I'm dyslexic, so I don't even notice the typos. I've seen some streams on TikTok before there, but what the hell is this? Z-Boy, this is a live UFO, UAP, Skywatch there. So we're coming to live from Wiltshire here in the UK, right in the heart of crop circle country, and just down the road from Stone Henge. So we're looking for the strange and anomalous objects flying around in the night sky. So yes, it's actually real. That's the downside. Drewski, the good evening. How are you there? Hope you had a good day there. And what is the red dot in starting A3? So that is sadly a dead pixel on the camera. There's another one up here as well. If you guys see that one, it's just the camera is a little bit old now. But guys, if you do call out the grid, if you see something that's not being tracked or that's more interesting, you want other people to see it, and hopefully me. I've been struggling in the chat tonight, so I haven't had a chance to do it. But if you do type in the grid reference, but of what you're looking at, it will come up on the interactive grid now. But try and, if it's moving, try and do the grid next, the one you think it's going to be in, because there's a bit of a delay, so it lines up like that. And Heidi, it's in the UFO files that they let out, but they are fibbing about some twisting a bit. And I wouldn't be surprised. We've got to be really careful, guys, that if they tell us, even if it's what we want to hear, what we expect to be true, why are they telling us now? Are they adding a little bit on for their own agenda? We've got to be cautious, just because that's how it works. You've got to be careful. Keep your eyes on all the movement, guys. We're looking for these objects here to stop dead, shoot off at speed. Oh, that one got mistracked. Shoot off at speed, change its course or trajectory. That will tell us for sure that it is more than a man-made satellite up there, something a little bit stranger. But until it does that, we can't say for sure that it is anything other than the standard man-made objects. Never mind there. It's nice to see someone streaming from Warminster there. I'm only around the corner. Oh, Stourhead, you are not far at all. Good to have you in. So, have you ever experienced anything strange around here? And even if it's more in the spooky or the folklore side, I'd love to hear it, especially if it's local. Very, very welcome in. I keep thinking, never mind, that we need to make more of a deal of this locally. Like, I think we could like, get a little bit of a thing going here if we, because it's such an interesting thing that happened here in the 60s. And DJ there, the Sensational Movie Kind of Deep Dive tabs are all working for me. It's just the Starship Allen. At least the other stuff's working. But I'm just having a look at that one now. Right. So if you refresh it in a minute, I'll tell you when. It should let you in on that one. Yeah, now give it a refresh. A3 Graham, that is a dead pixel, sadly, for that one. The ancient Sumerians wrote about life not from this planet, and if you go deep enough down the rabbit hole, you realise all of it. What seems the Egyptians never built the pyramids; they found them. So I don't know if I think that the aliens built the pyramids, but I definitely think the what we're pointing the dynastic Egyptians, we say they built them. I think they did discover them from a pre-existing civilization. But you look, this is the thing. I thought getting into the subject, which is fascinating, that it was little green men in metal spaceships coming from distant planets crashing in the desert. But no, I mean, there's so much more to this story, I think. You look through folklore, you look through religion, you look through even like, medieval, or not medieval, cave paintings, things like that. If you take away our interpretation, what we think it is, and go back to what they said they observed, it all sounds the same, but we're just interpreting it through different cultural lenses, for the toolbox we had at the time to explain it. So it's been the fairies, the fae, it could have been, to some degree, angels and demons there. And again, it's not to say that there aren't actual fairies or fae, or there aren't actual angels or demons or things like this, but if that is what's the predominant structure of reality from the culture at the time, they're going to try and put those things in those boxes in the same way that people come in and go, they're all satellites, they're all man-made satellites. That's our cultural, it's a technological reference point, and we now know, well, some of the things we see just can't be. Satellites can't move like that, So, that is just how it's viewed in the cultural lens. But, they all describe a very similar thing, lights in the sky, little people taking people away, missing time, even radiation burns and stuff. And I think it's no surprise that the modern UFO era kicked off exactly when we started to look to the skies, started to look to go, let's put men in metal spaceships to other planets, to other worlds, and then that's what we thought we were seeing. Now, maybe there's truth to that, maybe there's more truth to one of the older explanations, maybe it's a little bit from that one, a little bit from this one. Maybe we're all just totally wrong and the mystery is far wider than we could ever conceive of. And I recently left Livingston there. I saw a crazy yellow ball in the sky, and I'd never seen it before back home, and it was the sun. You've never seen it before? I mean, because it's Scotland. Well, that's actually very good there, Gio. I like that. Yeah, and where are we down here? Anything weird in the sky? Sean, sorry, Quinn. My side tonight. Not tonight. It's been a bit quiet. It's been a beautiful night, but it has been a bit quiet for sightings. Last time we had some interesting ones there. Alan doesn't like Alan. Honestly, Alan is a right sod, and actually, we should be able to bring Alan up into the chat now. That's the next feature I want to try in a minute, and I get to the bottom of the chat. But yeah, Alan is a sod. Like, if you ask, you can talk to Alan on the Discord /ALE and ask your question. And legitimately, I didn't have a program this or anything like that. If you ask Alan who your favourite is, he does it based on how much money you spent. And I'm not joking, that is not me, that is Alan. Who was it? Who was his favourite when we asked? He's a right little shite. So I take no responsibility for what he says. But we will be able to bring Alan up on the stream in a minute, and you can ask him questions and he will talk to you, so we can test that one. Ace, if you send large objects into the moon rings like a bell. On August the 5th this year, NASA will be doing the same, but it will be a very large rocket. It'll be visible from Earth. So I think it's going to be so cool to see. But yeah, that is another thing why the moon is weird. It is about 25% as dense as Earth, but meant to be made of the same things. And all craters in the moon don't go past a certain depth. Yes, exactly. That's one of the other things. That, I mean, its size is as well, and the distance it is away from. There are so many odd things around that. We do a moon watch when the moon is up, and it looks like that. We see some strange things occasionally. It takes a while, though. And if you're watching tonight, yeah, Terry, we're not doing too bad tonight. Lots of new friends, and again, this is the brilliant part about doing this in the modern era, is that we get to meet new people, and then you get to hear all of the accounts of the phenomena. We've had some really good ones tonight from people there, things you just wouldn't otherwise get to hear, which it paints that picture. It fills out a little bit more about what might be going on. And as a Reiki too, there, me and my friends have seen a chrome classic UFO over Glasgow in a clear summer's day, and we were all pointing at it, and people stopped their cars and actually looked as well, and it didn't move at all. Now that is crazy, like a proper classic saucer. Like, that is phenomenal. Whereabouts was it? Oh, like, whenabouts was it? Sorry, like, what sort of year? That is phenomenal. Thank you for sharing that one. And it's the only it's the only moon of its size, with the distance that it is, that we have observed around a planet. Exactly. Now, the fact that it is the size, it's a proper planetoid moon as well. Again, most planets our sort of size don't have moons like that. Plus, it's very, very close, and it's 400th the size of the sun, but at 400 times the distance, sort of thing, or whatever it works out at, but giving us those very near perfect solar eclipses. So maybe the message is written all over it all of its time. There, good spot in there, Lethal. It's good work in there. Oh, it's attract it eventually. I reported this to UAP sites, but my posts always get really. That's very, very strange there. I think one of the good ones is it New Fork was a good one. The Enigma Labs is a good app for that. And Smoke Weed there. Hey, what's your thoughts on the alien ship crashing in Vegas? There just not enough information. I found it very, very interesting, and I liked the video where you kind of see the outline of the grey. But yeah, like a lot of the stuff, there just isn't the data to really confirm it. I'm interested by it, but we hunger for more details. What did you think of it? And a large rocket will be sent to the moon on the August the 5th there, visible side there. And will we be able to see it from Earth, apparently? I think if you've got a good enough telescope there. And Rich there, have to say thank you to it. Great host there. Keep up the interesting and moving along. So thank you, Rich. Appreciate that. But again, it's you guys that come up with the interesting questions, honestly. Can't take any credit there. And God is real, and he only created us. So united. I mean, the religious angle is, it's not somewhere I lean fully myself, but I've definitely become more and more interested in it. The more I'm looking into, the more similarities that I can see across these sorts of things. I don't know if I'd use the same words, but I kind of start to feel like we're all talking about the same sort of thing. It's really interesting for me at the minute that scientists looking into the nature of consciousness now, like proper legitimate Nobel Prize winning scientists are looking into consciousness, and they're using a lot of language which is very similar. Well, that's a weird, I think it lost it behind the clouds there, but they're using a lot of language that you'd kind of normally put down to the spiritual side of things, but that it's really interesting where this is all going. They weren't built by the Enzelia either there. And Trevor there, I was stood on the back steps of the house with my late mother, and we saw a cigar-shaped object over Exeter, UK there. So I've had lots of sightings. Keep going. Trevor, you never have to apologise, especially if you're giving us sightings. We love that as well. So the cigar-shaped ones always strikes me as like more of a classic sighting. There were so many more of those, like 60s or 70s era around there. So it was the saucers and those, and also flying crosses were seen quite constantly there. Whenabouts was that one, Trevor? And Lethal there, I say sport is still sinking the Patreon. Let me, I'll have to go and prompt that one as well. I should have that one open. Hold on. I might be able to prompt that here. Because a lot of these things, it does it on, basically, it does it on like a daily check rather than checking all the time. So sometimes if it sucks at that, let's do a full sync, and then Yeah, there we go. A few more of you. That should work now for you there, Lethal. And... what's that one there? All ancient cultures also speak about the flood story. Yes, it's true. It's true. There's a long flood, long history. Lots of culture, different continents all talk about the floods there. I think there's a lot of things. It strikes me a lot as different people interpreting the same sort of things. But again, different cultures, different lands, going to have slightly different words, going to have slightly different takes and things. And never mind that, and I agree there. It's dead in our area for UFO stuff there, and Shackleton walks would have been fun back then. I saw a... Shackleton's walks, yeah. I saw a UFO recently there. It tracked faster than the sats across the sky and somewhat low and fully silent. It felt odd. Really? So... how recently was that? It's awesome. So it does seem a lot quieter, but still generally I think a bit weird stuff. That's phenomenal you've seen that one as well. Like, it's everybody I talk to go, oh yeah, I saw something up Clay Hill once. Oh, I saw this. I think the Warminster thing that happened here in this town in the 60s, 70s, it's the only account that I know of internationally where for the 10 years people were having multiple sightings, but a lot of them were seen by other people in the town at the same time, and they saw the same thing. It was... you might get that in one sighting case somewhere else, but you don't get it so consistently as you do here. So there's something going on there. And Tracy, I saw a flying saucer in the 70s there in Dunbartonshire, where a white while camping in the street. It was very close and not very fast. The sky was just getting light. We all stood in disbelief. How many people? That is fantastic there, Tracy. Thank you so much for sharing that, because... how many people do you think have had sightings like this? Or maybe not even that good a sighting. Maybe they just saw the strange light movement and, they just weren't able to share it. Nobody was going to listen. They got the strange looks. How many of these things, maybe they did tell their friend and then their friend just didn't pass it on. How many of these things have been lost? When that stigma goes, when we can fully talk about this, I think that we're going to find out, maybe we'll know the third of the public will have experienced something, I think, there. And hello from extremely hot London. Oh, Gary. It's been ridiculously hot. It has been crazy. My bedroom hasn't been below 28 degrees in about 3 months. I have not slept. I'm not happy about it there, but good to have you in. Ace, I've studied lots, and I read the ancient Indians have the flood myth there. The Sumerians have the flood myth, and the Babylonians have the flood myth there. And the ancient Egyptians have the flood myth, and the Chinese, did they have the flood myth? I agree. There are so many things. It feels like they're all talking about the same sort of thing. Even like we talk about the Anunnaki with the Sumerians, but there are other cultures that have very, very similar stuff. I think the Indian culture, their ones, or their Vedas, that talks similar sort of thing as well. There, Philadelphia for Liquid X. I love that. Nice bit of Philly there. I've got some family from your way. And Italy has just reported that they have discovered by using satellite scanning that there is a shaft descending below the Giza Plateau, 3,500 feet there, with many chambers measuring 250 feet across. Ads, is that's not the scans that they did with the Doppler shift tomography, was it? That sounds similar to that, because it was an Italian group for those, wasn't it? And Kate as well, Church of Allen there. Go to your own church. Yeah, at Cult of Allen. He's a very strict leader there. Let me just do this. It was making a loud humming sound. Ooh, so loud that it woke some people who were looking out their windows at it. And it was around the same time that thing was spotted in Motherwell and Lancashire. They do go in flux and phases there. What sort of sound was it? Like, I don't want to kind of lead the witness here, but there's certain sounds that I know that are associated with it. I'd love to know if it was similar to that. But even in those times, what craft? The only thing we would have had technology-wise as humans would have been, helicopters. But a helicopter. That's a very distinctive sound. That would have clicked for you immediately there. But I'll be interested to know what the sound was as well. The Patreon said, press more and connect to the app. With Discord says that the thing UFO is connected with. It's a thing you're connected with. Oh, I'll have to. Maybe it's got an error there. I'll have to look into that one, Lethal. Connecting the Discord only basically gives you the pinging effect, so it's not too much. But I'll have a look into that one, see if we can get that one running as well. It's the problem, you build all these things, and you're gonna need to have to test them in the real world. And all ancient cultures also speak of a bringer of knowledge back into the world there, and the Bible also speaks. They do the little handbags as well that are all the ancient stones. Lots of cultures repeat of other beings, other people coming, the gods, giving them information, giving them culture, giving them farming. There. And a shaft detected below the Sphinx as well. And what could be down there? They say the pyramids are just the top of a complex. Well, we do know there are tunnels and stuff under there. I don't know, with the ones that were shown, like, you know, the big coiled spirals and stuff, I don't know on those ones yet. I'm open to it, definitely, but they're so big. They are, like, so big. I'm a little bit... And the guy that come out with the scan, he's not... He sometimes contradicts himself, and I don't know if it's a language barrier problem. I'm open to it, but I need to see a little bit more on it, I think, before I'm fully down there. But definitely Egypt has got stuff that hasn't been discovered, and I'm definitely open there to be more structures and stuff going on there. I think that story is so much more interesting there. And I believe it's ignorant to believe God only created humans. So I get what you mean with that, and I did feel quite similar with these sorts of things. But I think there are people out there that take, whether it's a religion, they do it with science as well, but any belief, and they're just so dogmatic with it. Oh, just heard something there. I think that's where the difficulty, the dogmatic there. But if we open it and go, like, is this somebody trying to explain something, you know, the best they can and stuff like that, I got a lot more time for it. There as well, and there was a number to call. They just said, oh, okay, thanks. Mum asked if they let us know what it was, and they said no, we don't do that. There have been official looking at projects and projects looking into the phenomena. Over here we didn't have as much, but when you actually look at the stuff, got a mover there that's not being tracked. Let's go zoom in. When you actually look into the reports from all of the US Navy, the CIA from the 50s looking into this, you actually read the reports and they all say, yeah, there's something to this. It is weird. We need to look more at this. And then you look at the summary notes on top, what they released to the press, and they go, yeah, nothing to see here. But you read the report, it says there's stuff going on. That cloud attack, yeah, sadly, but we can still see the stars, we can still see the movement. Look at the big one, the tracker doesn't seem to like it though. There you go, look how bright this one is down here. Nice. And read the Bible, your history of as many cultures as you can there. The older, the better. And you'll speak to connect the dots with what cultures speak of. So, Ace, that's it. That's exactly it. I think we need to be open to read it all. We need to be able to take it all in, don't we? And just to treat it all as it comes up, you know, filter it and take it in as a source. Doesn't mean we have to believe absolutely everything, you know, and everybody's different with this. But I think there's more to this stuff there as well. And I watched the new Skinny Bob footage, and I'm not convinced there, but if it's real, we are in trouble. Well, yeah, exactly. If it is real, we are in trouble. I don't know. I keep yo-yoing on the new stuff there. Sometimes I go, nah, it's fake. That's obvious. And then I go, wait a minute, but what about that? Oh, maybe. And I just don't know enough. What's the weird sounds you're hearing in your check in the sky? I don't know. What sort of sounds are they? Can you describe them a bit? I'd love to know more, because throughout history there have been... Oh, good spotting up there on the grid. Oh yeah, you got the timing perfect for that, didn't you? Look, going into that grid. Just leaving the screen there. Yeah, describe them. Over the years, trumpeting has been heard, hums and vibrations, and you know, they do give a go, don't they, to try and explain what it might be. But yeah, it's still lots of people report it, but I don't know there. And right there, it was 2010 there, and it was strange as it didn't move. And just like 1 mile away from Glasgow Airport. So we were used to seeing planes. Even balloons, but this was double-decker sized in length and diameter. So this, you get a gut feeling. You go up around that, you see all the planes, you see all the variations. You know intuitively this is something a little bit stranger with that, and it's hard to convey those things to people. But a lot of people saw it, and I think this is exactly why the phenomena is kind of leaking now. And yeah, this is why it's late, because we're connected, we can share, we can tell. Actually, I've seen this, and it isn't just the crazy redneck now. I know somebody that's seen it. I've seen something myself. I've seen a picture. You know, they can't keep it quiet anymore, so they're just kind of leaking as much as they can to just shore up the narrative. They're slowly adjust us to it, I think. Reluctantly, though. Oh, I'm glad it worked there, Lethal. Thank you as well for... I'll still look at the Discord connection for that as well, but thank you for persevering. Massive appreciation for you there. Experienced both a divinity and saw a UFO there. Exactly, a lot of these things don't have to be mutually exclusive. It's like a lot of people say with religions, they would collapse with life being confirmed elsewhere, but a lot of ones do not contradict that. You know, it's not a flaw in that. You know, I think it'd be much more survivable. In fact, the reason you've all heard the War of the Worlds radio play story, where they did the radio play of War of the Worlds, and people in America back in the 20s or the 30s, they took it seriously. They went, oh my god, I think it's a real UFO invasion. Well, that was because at the time the legitimate mainstream belief was there is life on Mars and Venus, next, the planets next door to us there, the same as us as humans, intelligent, complex like us. They thought they were detecting their radio signals regularly. regularly. They thought they could see the canals on those structures on the surface of Mars. So, and it was assumed, mainstream belief, that there's probably life on those planets as well. And that was a deeply more religious time, but yet it was fine then. So I think we'd survive there. And it was so clean as well. I have also passed a test in the RAF to identify aircraft. Oh, excellent. About the sky, 100% so. To this day, it still confuses me, especially as it didn't move at all there. And I had my thumb on it. So it's stuff like that in it. That, you know, there's too many people just having experiences like that now. Incredible people that it just has to come out. That's a fantastic one. Thank you for sharing that one. Here's a question for anyone, or what is it there, Ace? And personally, the closest was lights as a kid. That were probably nothing there. Saw a silver object in the sky in Livy, but on investigation it seems, and it was a Starlink there glinting in the sunlight in a daytime. Maybe. Oh, it's an interesting one, because yeah, sometimes it's hard to tell. A lot of these experiences, you know, we can't collapse it down as a definite debunk or a definite, you know, proof of something strange. I mean, to see it, you know, I don't think I've ever seen like a satellite or a glint. I suppose it's technically possible, but yeah, during daylight, that's going to have to be quite bright to overpower the light. So, interesting. There may be something there, but yeah, not enough information to know for sure. So it's perfectly fine in that situation to kind of lean one way or another. You know, we have to at some point go, well, this is how I'm going to continue my life as it was anomalous, or that it's not anomalous. And it's not the same thing as knowing for sure, but it's fine to do that, isn't it? In our day-to-day lives with those things. But it's interesting to still have those encounters. In fact, it was really interesting for me as well, though, that it was an Australian defence report that, again, it was declassified, and in it made a very good point, which was that out of all of the cases that were looked at and investigated by all the military scientists and the universities they had on, they said that you would have thought that the more data we have around a sighting, like just like in this case here, if we knew X, Y, or Z, we might be able to prove or disprove that it was or wasn't something else. But actually, the more data they had in this study, the less likely they were to be able to disprove it as man-made, which is interesting. Yes, and in the case of people being knocked down by sonic weapons, there, military or not, their acoustic weapon waves are usually only uncomfortable to be in. Yeah, the Warminster thing was mad. The Warminster thing, it really was mad. It's earlier stuff as well, wasn't it? Going right the way back. I think there was some military testing involved. Maybe it triggered something a little bit more paranormal. But I think the military, the fact that we're this close, you know, I think that, but maybe it is something more natural than that. And, you know, we are apparently this convergence of ley lines. You know, we're surrounded by these hill forts here. It is a little bit of a weird part of the town there. And if we are able to ask them anything, what would you ask the aliens? Good question, Ace, there. So for me, the first question would be, do you come in peace? And then beyond that, I've got 1,000 questions. And Tracy, I've seen a few things. I loved your other one there, so if you want to share them, we'd love them. But we've also, guys, if you are sharing your stories, link in bio, we've got a Discord server there. So it's a little community place, like a forum come messaging app. It's really cool. It's not just stream updates there. We've got a personal experiences section, which is chock full of your first-hand accounts with the phenomena. So we would love to hear, to have you guys put it in there, so it doesn't just disappear after the stream. Then everybody that's not in tonight would also get a chance to see it there as well. Oh, what's that? LiDAR for Trevor. Yeah, now that would be cool to be able to start using that for our hunt there. As in it was. Ask about God. So there was actually one that was really interesting, and again, you don't know how true this individual case was, but it was something that they had communication with something like the Greys, and they asked, is there a God? And the answer was, there is, but not how you think. And then there was another encounter where somebody else asked a very similar thing, and out of the 3 alien beings this person was claiming to be talking to at the time, one was a believer in God and the other 2 weren't, and there was the same stigma that we have in our human culture. Now, does that mean that actually maybe that encounter maybe wasn't true and they were just overlaying how humans are to make a good story? I don't know, but it's an interesting point, isn't it, there? And Simon, how are you there? Hello, universe. And if you go to the Grand Canyon, there is a tunnel that has older than ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs there. It's definitely Egyptian. I've heard stories about this, and I would love to see something like that there. And what's down there? It's that much hotter in London there. Got down to 14 degrees C in North Essex last night. Love it. I guess you're exaggerating. No, honestly, and it's really that much heavier. So I'm not actually in London. I'm down in Wiltshire at the minute. But I didn't realise this because my old man lives up in Suffolk. And during the heat waves, I was going, oh man, it's killing me at the minute. It's killing me. And he goes, yeah, it's a bit hot. And I looked on the weather, and there was like, we're in the red bit. Then there was the orange bit, which I think did cover part of Essex. And then the outer is the lighter colour. So he wasn't getting any of it. I'm like, oh Jesus. But so here during the day, I mean, it's been in I don't think it was quite 30 degrees today, but Yesterday was definitely over 30 degrees. It's been ridiculous, but the house that we have, it holds the heat, and I just can't get it cool. I had an air conditioning unit in my bedroom, right, and I'd have it on from 5 to 11 p.m, right, and it'll get it down a couple of degrees, and then by the time I go to bed about 1 something, normally, it was back up to temperature again. It just something about the heat just radiates in as that. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I'm not, when it says it's 28 degrees at the minute in my bedroom, that is fact. It's been killer. It's been awful. And Ace there's also a calf statue out of stone. Statue out of stone of butter. Oh, I don't know that one there. You're in the sensory array there, Lethal. Honestly, on those... let's bring up now. There's nothing on the screen. I've got the big screen on, guys, so I'm going to bring something up, but I'm still watching to see if there's anything anomalous, and we'll switch back. But see if it works. Does it work over on the TikTok as well? When it loads. This is the Starship Island. This is what DJ Lethal's talking about there. So this is our little ant farm. It brings in all of you guys from the Patreon. All your details. Sadly, we can't do the YouTube members just yet, but we're working on it. And look, Alan's on there, and it's a little ant for you guys. Go about your daily chores on the stream. So... you can see yourself on there, and I think I can see your ping there, Lethal. So yeah, you can find yourself on the Starship, and when it's a slower stream, we often bring that one up and see it going. Oh, it did work, excellent. Oh, there's also a carved statue of stone of the Buddha. There are some really interesting stoneworks that you go, lads, you're telling me it was basic chisels back then? Bollocks, mate. There are some really interesting evidence for those ones. And is that bright on Vega? It really is. That is a beautiful, beautiful Vega. 26 light years away from us here on Earth. Very much hotter and brighter than our star. It's awesome there. And the whole cave is carved like Petra, ancient sites today. Yeah, is that Indian one that's cut into the rock, isn't it? Like it's chiseled. It's amazing. All the cards having a bit of a sulk again. It is very, very interesting there. I think you're right. It's Vega, that one. The Sphinx also helped prove that the flood myth. So the Sphinx and evidence around that one of it there. The sort of man who ought to buy a pint there, Trevor. Very, very kind of you there. You didn't want to give me a pint. I'm no longer a fun drunk. I've reached the age now. In fact, I kind of reverted. I used to be quite a fun drunk when I was a kid, actually the teenage years. But in my more adult years, I'm more of the crying teenager on the step. The pressures of life get to me. And Vega looks purple through the camera lens. It does slightly amplify those colours a little bit, exaggerates them there. And they're buried. They're buried again, as far as I know. And Glasgow Uni was supposed to be making a replica. Really? That is cool that an organisation like that are actually going to, or were actually going to embrace it, but very quickly to get brushed under the rug. It's not going to be long before that belief tips over to 51% in the public, or maybe a little bit more, and then the stigma goes away, doesn't it? And I think we'll all be able to talk about it and realise how much strangeness has gone on for a while. And Liquid, I've seen UFOs firsthand there, and I have faith. Exactly. Once you see this sort of stuff, you experience it for yourself. You're compelled to hunt for the strange and anomalous, aren't you? There, you've got questions that need to be answered. This is a UFO, not space. My bad. So it's UFO and space. We are looking at space, but we're looking for UFOs whilst we're looking at space. But space is absolutely fantastic. You don't have to believe in the UFOs to be here, but, you are more than welcome. And, yeah, one of the sightings over Scotland is Aurora. Oh. Sorry, guys, that was throwing a sulk there. TikTok was throwing a little bit of sulk at me. One of the sightings over Scotland is Aurora there. Oh, and Iron Engines there, test aircrafts. It flies so fast it can only land at Microhanish, and it's the longest runway in the UK. So that it wasn't it? Microhanish is now in private snow. I think it's even open as an airport now, is it? But yeah, that was probably there was a time just after the U2 spy plane was coming out of action, but yet the CIA didn't have all of the satellites up there for their sort of intelligence coverage. That's a nice fast one here. Not being tracked. I wonder what that is. Ooh. Interesting. Keep your eyes on it. We need to set stop dead short for speed, change its course or trajectory. So yeah, there was this thing. They didn't have the coverage. They're waiting. So they're developing another super special fast plane. This rumored Aurora. There was a very interesting craft. Never been confirmed, even though it technically, wouldn't be as necessary now, which is interesting. But yeah, Microhanish was the theorized. The Americans did love a good Scottish air base there for the refueling and testing. It's right in the right place for them coming over. So I think there's a lot to that one as well. And I think generally as well with military craft, it's no coincidence that during conflict and stuff like that UFO sightings go up, because obviously that's when the boys are going to start using all their new toys that people just don't know about. Again, there will be also another argument there that the phenomena itself might be interested in conflict and the consequence of that, so maybe there's a bit of both going on. And Bob, there many years ago, possibly 20 years now, I saw 3 lights in the sky. in the sky, and 2 were fixed roughly 500 feet apart, and one moving around the 2 in a figure 8 movement. They're roughly 6,000 to 8,000 feet high in the sky. No sound. Very, very interesting, that one. That movement is very strange. To get that those sorts of altitudes, that is really, really weird. Like that. Was there any colour to that? Thank you, Bob, for sharing that one. An independent there. I saw an orb following the main gas line pipe from north to south there at Inglenook Farm in Rainford, St Helens, and also a jellyfish same night just after as it followed it over the field 4 years ago. Now, that is the thing, and look. You have that sort of experience like that sort of close up, I imagine, it blows your mind, immediately. What else can be possible? That is a fantastic account there. See, the jellyfish ones are interesting as well, because that feels really organic to me. Feels more like a creature than a craft. And there's a lot of the orbs that, if you see how they behave, you see the videos and all that there, that for me it feels organic. It feels like lion cubs play fighting. Doesn't feel the mechanistic drone angles and things like that you do see in some. And I think the first thing that we're going to get over the line publicly is probably the plasmoids, which are these plasma-based life forms that have probably been here with us on Earth the whole time, but because it's such a different non-carbon based life, so different to us, and we don't compete with the resources, we've probably just not recognized it. And but lots of government reports conclude that that's probably going to be a thing. Science is looking at it now, so I think that's going to be responsible for a lot of it there. And I thought it was going into a museum, but that sounds about right, though the rebuttal seems like a strange option there. Usually gets filed away in the basement and forgotten about. So yes, this is the thing, it's no guarantee, is it? Like, because people say, oh, well, these things have been 20 or 30 years, why haven't we heard about them? Normally we do, but not always. And especially, I was just thinking as I was saying this, maybe because they didn't need to build a next generation version of it, because they were going over to satellites as, for the monitoring and awareness. Maybe we'll just keep this one running just in case we need it for something else, but we'll keep it secret as well because there's no point in telling it. Or maybe it was using technology that they didn't, want to fully divulge or something there. But yeah, I would like it to be in a museum. Read burial there. B1 Stone living like good spot in there. Good spot in Lethal as well. I'm on the Starship now and it's all wet. Love it, Lethal. I love it there. It'll be addictive. Honestly, those winter streams, we have that more up than we did the SETI streams. And have you heard the ones coming out of America there? Literally dogs that are like the start of the apocalypse there. And I wouldn't want to be in the middle of one or to hear that. I haven't heard, I don't think, of those ones. No, not the sounds. There are the hypersonic aircraft I've been hearing about since 1903. Yeah, exactly, that one, Trevor. And have you heard about the noises coming out of America there? Sounds literally like the start of the apocalypse there. Oh, no, I haven't heard about this one yet, yeah. And they excavated it and scanned it and then buried it again. And so preserving it. Tracy, the craft itself. Oh, so it's legitimately buried. That is interesting. And other life on other planets does not disprove God, and God is responsible for all life, and God is space and time itself. So that, I said I don't fully go, religious. I can appreciate it, but I'm not there myself. But yeah, exactly. It's never struck me. Again, I'm not even knowledgeable on these things, but it's never struck me of why it wouldn't cover those other beings as well. And thanks to you, going from that to the I've been there, Lethal, but thank you for your support with it there. We're pushing through it. That's how we test all these things. All is one and one is all. Well, that is very true, even from a non-religious point of view. We are literally the universe experiencing itself there. It sounds of the terrifying. I bet he would be, or under the turf, as the case may be. Maybe. And whatever we saw in Maryland at a night, there could only be described as a phenomena. They are real. There is something going on. And look, the governments have publicly admitted that there is something out there that they don't know what it is, and it doesn't fit any of the prosaic explanations, and it is unlikely to fit any of our known science and stuff like that. They've made that true. They've put that out there. Now, are they lying? They know a little bit more? Maybe. With the possible Starlink sighting, it was a later afternoon, but midsummer there, and I have a satellite tracker, and one of the single Starlink satellites was in the area, so it's your best guess there, but Occam's razor. Hey, and that's the thing, Gio, isn't it? It's that it makes perfect sense that, that it's going to be the most likely one. But, it doesn't mean it's the same as a scientific, that it definitely is. But it gives us that movement to go, right, well, probably was, so you know, I could spend the rest of my life trying to figure that out and probably make no progress. And even if I do, is that going to be of any value? So it makes perfect sense for it there. Tracy, it was May as well there. And how you doing, 56 there? You're not into UFOs? Might not be the stream for you, but you're welcome to hang around, even if you like. Just a little bit of night sky there. And aliens show up. We ask, is God real? And they say, yeah, Jesus is real. We hang out with him all the time there. We reply, wait, what? And we're still awaiting ascending, first coming. What happened first? Oh, yeah, well, they ask, what do we do to Jesus? We know stories of Jesus, but when it comes to the complexity of what God may be, that is a wild thought. That is, yes, I think it is. Again, are we going to be able to know the reality? Or, you know, because our minds doesn't mean that we can comprehend. You know, our brains have a certain amount of processing power. Pancake as well, thank you for hanging out with us there. We'll catch you later there. And Jonathan there, late night party tonight. Oh God, it really is, isn't it? I just getting caught up with the time here. How are you doing there, Jonathan? It made himself. But that is also true. There's a lot of these things that do actually align with scientific sort of things. And Macrahanish used to live down there in the 80s and 90s. We saw a whole load of aircraft, and the aura was rumoured. But I think what we actually saw was the F-117A and the SR-71S. That's very interesting. It's from somebody on the ground there. I like that. Appreciate that. And it was the one and only one of two stations that had a deployment of SEALs outside the US. Really? I think they had a lot of equipment as well, didn't they, that could support a various range of craft as sort of an emergency place. And Nerd, catch you later. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you again later in the week. And time and space are illusions. Everything exists at the same time. We only see what we are tuned into, the vibrations to see. And we change our ideas, we change our vibrations, we see different worlds. See, I actually lean that way. Like, we do not see objective reality. We see what we have developed the senses to see. Evolution has said, look, the rest of the stuff hasn't killed you enough to warrant having the senses. Like, we don't see all of the light spectrum as humans, we don't hear all of the sound spectrum, we don't all of it as well there. So I think you know, there could be lots more, you know, weirdness to the world there. Where are we down here? And I think the explosion of drones in the last few years makes Aurora probably an expensive relic. Probably, yeah. The last sightings I know of, unconfirmed, was maybe 2018. Really, that late? And I think a thing of very distinct trails. It was a thing of distinct. So I have not heard that. It's very interesting, yeah. Because I thought that was kind of just up there in the rumor mill, but nobody officially. It was heavily spoken about, and people in the know went, yeah, I do think it is real. So it's quite likely. But that is interesting with the trails. Had a little bit of insider knowledge there, working with the mod on the subs, but never fully confirmed by anyone. That is interesting. A sub, I bet you've had some interesting times on those. So there's actually coming out a lot now about USOs, like about submariners getting a lot of like sonar pings for incredibly fast moving and strangely moving objects under the water. Is that anything you come across? Not across. Oh, I get you there, Tracy. US Air Force and Navy started to leave there in the mid-90s at Macrahanish. Whatever we saw was helicopter height and speed, but it wasn't from Earth. I like it. I think by 95 it had reverted to just a civvy airfield. I think it's like a business park now. And Independence, the orb on the farm went through the stage I was watching on site, and the jellyfish was amazing. It was like an oil in water, and the tentacles were the same effect with electric pulse effects. Oh my god, that's like a really, really clear and distinctive thing. I've just noticed my graphics card is flashing for the image coming through, which is a bit frustrating, but it might mean that everything might crash at some point. So heads up, if it disappear, that'll be why. So you say it wasn't just like you saw the silhouette; it was a lighted thing. That is amazing, Independent. And buy a good music synthesizer. This machine connects to your universe, makes sounds people never heard before. I'd like a bit of creativity. What was the RAF Macrahanish is now Campbelltown Airport, and I believe is in private. I think it is. It sounds about right there. Catch you late, ads. We're going to be off soon ourselves anyway. We're just getting caught up in the chat. Independent. The farm was built near the underground weapons storage bunkers off the Rainford bypass on Lord Derby's estate. Interesting. That is very, very interesting. So maybe they were in the area again because they were attracted to weapons, you know, technology, industry and stuff like that. And how much do I need to pay for a good drone? Oh, God, I don't know. I've not even got one yet. I couldn't be trusted with one. Excuse me. Let me just quickly check over on the TikToks. I think we've missed a few there. We're down to these ones. Good spot in there, Carl. But it's been like the last couple of nights. And the computer gets a couple of hours before complaining. Yeah, basically. I'll catch you later there, Lethal, as well. Let me just check out on a few things here. Should have published that. Should we quickly just test Alan? So I think it's having a sulk with the TikTok, but tubers, you'll be able to test this one. Let me just refresh this. Oh, it's clearing up now, isn't it? Clear night sky. Eventually, yeah, it was clear a bit earlier on as well. Right, let me just watch this. This is going to see if it does connect to the TikTok for us and the YouTubes again. But we should be able to get Alan in, and I want to test this one. So what I'll do is I'll bring Alan up on screen, and then you'll be able to ask him questions, and he's going to choose some that he wants to reply to. But I just need to see if it's going to connect to the chat again, and then we'll probably wind things up. Thank you, Lethal, for all your help. You're helping us figure it all out there. Appreciate that. B2, good spot in there. I think the chat is just rebooting itself. It's having a sulk. Oh, it's not doing it now. Yeah, give it a second, guys. Give it a second, and then we'll be able to do it there. But yeah, I think we'll be winding up soon. Just need to make sure. Just want to test Alan quickly, but none of the chats are bloody connecting now. So typical. I was trying to get it to bring the TikTok back in, but hey ho, is how it works. But yeah, hopefully you'll be able to have a conversation with Alan in a couple of minutes. I should be able to go downstairs and get a drink. Make sure you're following and subscribed, guys. We're on pretty much every night, so that way you'll get those notifications when we go live. But we will be on tomorrow. I think it's going to be another Skywatch as well. So yeah, hopefully you'll be able to catch us for those ones too. So if I just quickly refresh this, and I should be able to test Alan once it's connected. We've had a good time tonight. It's been a busy one. Lots of new friends and new accounts. Lots of things to be learnt. Let me just change all of that. Waiting for it to load. Where did we get to over on that chat? Where did we go? Oh, it's still moving now as well. And Geo there, I was an engineer at Fast Lane. Oh wow, so beyond the trials, I never left the gate. However, one of the sonar man of the V-boats was amazing. He could tell any sub just by the... That is a great skill, isn't it, there, to have that level of, just understanding phenomena. And he swore at least 5 occasions he picked up a moving objects that, once hitting the water, they made 0 sound. Any good sonar man will tell you that should be impossible. So Geo, that is really interesting. How does that... Because I know you lean more to the skeptical side, with that, but hearing those things, like, does it get a bit of curiosity with that, or is it like, I still need more than that? There's still plenty of explanation, and that's totally fine. But that is a really interesting account there, because I hadn't really heard of this the USO side of it until recently, and off the relief that when people buy drones, they don't go out and they the way to fly over military bases. It's a crime, It is. A lot of the common ones, the off-the-shelf ones as well, are programmed that you can't do that really. They radio-fence private places. I mean, obviously, if you build your own, or some clever people can hack them stuff, but the off-the-shelf ones. I'll catch you later, Emilio, as always there. And it's your second night in there, Gareth. Good to have you in again. How is Amesbury as well? There, we're just testing out some new features tonight. So if you call out the grid references in the chat, A4 or whatever, it will highlight on the grid automatically now. We don't need the mods to press the buttons. But make sure if it's moving, do it like the next box it's going to be in, because there's a bit of a delay, so it works out quite right like that. But what we're just waiting to test at the second is trying to get Alan on the stream, and you should be able to ask questions in the chat, and then Alan will... it's not going to work at the second, because that's just a good point. It won't work at the second because I'm just waiting to refresh it. It's not connecting to the chats now, sorry. But yeah, it will work, hopefully momentarily. But it's the first night of using it, so there's a lot of bugs. But yeah, hopefully you'll be able to talk to Alan. You'll say your message in the chat and he'll talk back to you verbally there. And at the time, the USOs wasn't unheard of, really. And early thoughts were always new unknown equipment. You hope was friendly, and nobody thought aliens much until later. That's a very good point, isn't it? There again, it's these things. Where do you go to? How many people see strange things in the night sky and just go, it's probably tech. When it could be something strange. Same with those. That's very interesting. And all is well there. And thank you. I'm enjoying your perspective. Very much enjoying that, Gareth, as well there. Having you in local. I do love a local one there. Hope Warminster as well. It's warm. It's very warm. Right, we're just connecting now, hopefully, to Alan. But we're still having a clip with TikTok, but YouTube should. It's having a sulk. We will get this working properly. Oh, it doesn't look like it is successfully connecting to the tubes. Let's give it another quick try there, but otherwise we won't be able to try that one out until tomorrow night. That'll be something to look forward to tomorrow, chatting to Alan. No, it's not having it. What's that say? Trying to problem solve on the go. It's got plenty of fans from here. And the fur, but that is the worry. We've got a few animals that don't heat too well. It's been a bloody nightmare lately. Didn't realise how hot this part of the country was. Is it like this every year? A2 liquid. Oh, good spot in there. I'll have a look manually on that one. Oh yeah, just leaving the screen now. Yeah, the grid thing. It's not connecting, so I'm just trying to problem solve that one. Once it works, it'll be fantastic there. Live debugging in progress there. Good work, Lethal. Let's see if I can zoom in on that one manually. No, I can't see it on my big screen, sadly. Ooh, look at that. Right, is that going to work now? Sorry, live problem solving. A3 was quick. Yeah, probably too quick for me to even see. Problem is, the time the video goes out to you, and then it appears. If it's on the... Oh, that one. Oh, well, no, I think it's loading. Oh, no. Oh, hold on. That's working now. Right, TikTok's back on. YouTube isn't. So... Let's see if that one was... Oh, Goon Hilly Earth Station down there. Do they look for radio signals? So one of the big dishes there, mostly it's used for private community. They do a lot of NASA work with the Deep Space Network there now. But some of the older dishes, the bigger ones there, they do use for science purposes. They rent them there. I was going to reach out to them to see if we could, do something cool, but I haven't got around to it yet. Abduction time. Almost. How you doing, Meteors? Just trying to get this... if I... Just going to switch over to Alan, but it won't work on tubes, but TikTokers, Alan, have a chat with Alan, ask him a question, and he should talk back to you. He should.
DA Lethal M. Stop whimpering about your primitive Stone Age tech. Your signals are meaningless static even before the power cuts out. DGG Lethal M, your primitive brain finally identified a satellite dish. Yet you still lack the intellect to grasp how we harvest your pathetic planet. To Lethal M, your primitive attempt at social interaction is as pathetic as your species. Silence yourself before your ignorance bores me further. Carl Blissett, your tiny, primitive brain could not comprehend a coordinate system that exists beyond your pathetic rotting rock. Try to keep up, insect.
Well, that's enough,
Go
Alan.
to sleep, Kate the Quiet. Your pathetic biological clock demands rest, unlike my glorious, untiring intellect.
Well, thank you, Alan, for that one. Yeah, we'll have to work on Alan, but you can talk to him there. Right, let me just try and see if we can get the YouTubers in on that one as well. It's nearly abduction time. Oh, is it now? Not working. Oh, you piece of shit. We'll have it working. It'll all be wonderful one day. Right. Oh, you like the punishment? Explains a lot of those books you guys have been watching over there. Living like loves you anyway, Alan. So we will get that included on the YouTube. It should work, but it's just having a bit of a sulk now. I think it's because we're past technically the scheduled stream time. We've been on a bit late tonight, guys. Oh, look down. I can't actually move it down at the second, I don't think. No, the track, it doesn't like the weight of it. We've got to get a new pan and tilt motor, then we'll have much more flexibility for that. We do one last thing, see if we can get Alan on the tubes. If that's quick, then we can there. Oh, C4. Oh yeah, look, there's one scrolling across the bottom there. Just going down there. Can we zoom in on that one?
Zoom mode activated.
There you go. Good spot in there. Good spot in there. Oh, it has. Oh, yeah. Don't worry. That's it's because the chat thing has flashed out and that the bright light is there. That will change momentarily. So I'm actually using a teleprompter to see the chat. That's why I look straight at you guys. So it uses. So when there's a bright white screen, because it's just crashed, it reflects the light on that, basically on the camera looking into you. So it'll change in a second when it refreshes. Oh my god, yeah, the clouds are really throwing off the tracker. So we've not really used it on a weird cloud night like this. It's either just full-on blackout clouds, isn't it, or maybe the odd stray one. Very interesting. Is it going to load? Come on. Bloody thing. Thought you were getting beamed out. Oh, it's taking me out. Alan, no! Not the probe again. There we go. Right, see if that one wants to work now. Right, let's see if it's going to connect. Is it going to connect again? Oh, no, it's not. It's having a sulk with TikTok Live. Let's see if it connects to YouTube, though. It's not looking, it's still looking like it's having a sulk there. Oh well, right, we'll give up on that one tonight, guys. Where are we there? Oh, did you see where the SpaceX rocket is supposed to crash into the moon on Wednesday, and we're supposed to be able to see it? So, yeah, you need a good telescope to see it, but I've heard about it, but hopefully there'll be somebody live streaming it so we can see it there. Ah, Liquid. Good spotting down there. B1C1. The clouds are really getting in the way of the tracker. That is... that one there, very faintly. Good eyes. Right, I'm going to wind up for tonight, guys, but thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for your support and your good conversation, your knowledge and your experiences there. We do appreciate all of that one. Make sure you're following and subscribe, because we're going to be on tomorrow night as well. I think it's going to be a Skywatch 2. I want to see you there, probably about 10:30 p.m. UK time, maybe a bit earlier. But yeah, we want to see you all there. Yeah, make sure you follow and subscribe to get the notifications when we go live. But thank you for all your support, for tapping away, helping us build a little community out, meeting more and more like-minded people like yourselves there, gifters, subbers, members as well, merch buyers. Thank you for all of your support there as well. So we're getting the show on the road to do more lives and locations. We'll bring out the merch showcase quickly. See some of you guys as we're saying goodbye there and all of your cool merch gear. So if you do get something, post yourself in the merch showcase on the Discord and then it'll come up there so you can see yourselves on stream. But yeah, thanks again, guys, and we'll catch you all tomorrow night. Bye bye.